In September of 18, the county declared a shelter crisis and affirmed our commitment to combating homelessness. Then from 2019 to 2021, the county searched for over 1,300 sites for the use of interim housing, such as sleeping cabins, safe parking, and safe RV parking facilities. During this time, state agencies also looked at their own land for interim housing. Caltrans, who owns the Troy Street parcel, identified it as having potential for interim housing use at that time. Then in 22, the county board approved the implementation plan called the Compassionate Emergency Solutions and Pathways to Housing Plan. And this was to expand emergency housing options, and then the county shortlisted less than a dozen viable sites, which included both the Hamashaw site and the Troy Street sites. And these met both development and program requirements, such as being near utilities, being outside of a floodplain, having access to public transit, and being within reach of support services. This plan was guided by a community engagement process, including people with lived experience, as well as several touch points with the city here at Glenville. And then in 2023, the governor offered support for temporary sleeping cabin projects, and the state and the county began planning for two sites, one at Hamashaw and one at Troy Street. Then in 2024, the County Board of Supervisors approved and then rescinded approval for the Hamashaw project and subsequently approved the Troy Street project to move forward with development. So we've been since then working diligently on the design and received helpful and constructive feedback from your community that we were able to incorporate. So I'll now turn it over to Scott Chrisman to discuss more about the design and how it will be constructed.
The Troy Street project is located on Caltrans property in the city of Lemon Grove on the border of the unincorporated Spring Valley community. The Troy Street project is located on Caltrans property within the city of Lemon Grove on the border of the unincorporated community of Spring Valley. It is at the corner of Troy Street and Sweetwater Road, east of State Route 125. For those of you familiar with the Troy Street and Sweetwater Road intersection, the site is the vacant Caltrans property across the street from the gas station and the car wash. After receiving the board's direction last July, we completed the concept design and the environmental investigation. We began conducting community outreach in November of last year to gather feedback on the concept design, and since then have incorporated many start construction this summer. On Sweetwater Road. Here's a view from the Troy Street Bridge. And you can see the site is hidden due to the retaining wall with the ornamental fence on top, as well as the topography. The landscape design consists of a mix of native and low water use plants, including oak and sycamore trees, as well as coyote brush and flowering ground covers. On the right, you can see a typical decomposed granite landscape, which will be used on the interior of the site to reduce water usage while providing a stable walking service. We analyzed the project to ensure we are providing enough parking, since residents with cars would be better served by one of the county's safe parking facilities. This facility is intended for residents without cars. We considered all the volunteers, security guards, case managers, and others that will be using the site on any given day and determined 13 spaces will meet the facility's needs. I'll now turn it over to Deanna.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good to be with you here tonight. Communities are safer when people are housed, and this project aims to provide safe interim housing to help bridge people into stability and permanency. As mentioned, the site will establish approximately 60 units, most of which will be single occupancy with a few that will have double occupancy. Based on the annual point-in-time count, we know there are veterans, transitional youth, single women, and seniors that are some of our most vulnerable populations. This program will serve these populations who are experiencing homelessness in the nearby communities. All referrals into the program will be closely coordinated by our county's Office of Homeless Solutions outreach team. Residents entering this program are assessed and screened by our outreach teams and the Sheriff's Homeless Assistance Resource Team. Felony warrants, serious violent history, registered sex offenders, and arsonists are ruled out from the program to ensure the safety of program participants. Intake into program will be coordinated with the on-site contractor and transportation to the site provided by our teams. Program rules include no drugs or alcohol use on site or property, and all residents must agree to participate in the program, which includes extensive case management and housing navigation to permanent housing. This community would follow good neighbor practices and ensure that surrounding areas are kept clean and safe. County staff's preliminary due diligence assessment has determined that it would cost $11.1 million to complete planning, design, and construction of the site. This one-time cost includes the cost of actual cabins, which are approximately $3,000 per unit, as well as significant costs to construct the site, including all preparation, utilities, grading, construction, fencing, landscaping, and all other relevant infrastructure. The ongoing operational cost for this community is estimated at $3 million per year, which includes all program costs, security, as well as site maintenance and repairs. Community amenities would include 24-hour security, site management and maintenance, hygiene facilities, internet, meals, picnic areas, dog run, and enrichment activities. As mentioned, this program includes case management, housing navigation to permanent housing options, access to behavioral health services for those who have the needs, access to public benefits, employment supports, support with disability benefits, credit repair, and many other supportive services. The goal of this program is to house people on temporary basis after 6 months to help them stabilize and transition into permanent housing. County currently operates 2 safe parking sites, one of which is just down the road in Spring Valley. This site has been serving people experiencing homelessness in their vehicles and has operated since August of last year without any incidents or calls for service. Our other site, Magnolia, safe parking in El Cajon, was operational for 2 years without any incidents. Magnolia is currently temporarily closed for renovations, and prior to launch of Magnolia, the surrounding area had numerous calls for service and was a home to a huge encampment. While the program was operational for 2 years, our program had no calls for service, and the immediate surrounding area only had a handful of calls according to the Sheriff's Office. We aim to provide similar quality, well-run program at Troy Street, which will lend a helping hand to those who are ready to work with us and achieve permanency. This concludes our presentation on the Troy Street project, and we're happy to answer any questions related to this project.
Thank you so much for that detailed presentation. I'll now have the opportunity to ask questions from around the City Council, and we'll go ahead and start with Councilmember Zadira Altamirano.
Hi, how many questions can I ask? That's many? Okay. Some of the questions that I have is, can you confirm whether there is a lease agreement with Caltrans, a signed lease agreement for the property?
Councilmember, we're currently in negotiations with Caltrans to execute a lease for this property.
The other question that I had was, I read there, well, I understand that the Sweetwater studies are exempt for this type of project?
Yes, ma'am, we conducted a secret study and there was a categorical exclusion for this property. You can make that available to you if you'd like to.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
This project was categorically exempt under CEQA, and there are certain categories that how to qualify for that exemption. And that's a public document, we're happy to share it with you.
Okay. The property used to be a nursery, many years ago. And my understanding is that there's a potential for pesticides and chemicals in the soil that have seeped into the ground. Are we doing any type of soil testing? Because I understand that there's an exception if there's a potential for safety and like a health and safety concern. I wouldn't put my pets on that location and I wouldn't put people there. So have you done any soil testing there?
We have those in preparation for the Caltrans lease. They require us to do an aerially deposited lead survey of the soil. So we've done that, it's come back negative, the lead levels are not high in that site. We've also done a phase 1 environmental site assessment to look into past uses to determine if there should be additional investigation. I don't have the specifics of that, but I don't believe that it found anything that would require us to do further studies to confirm that the property is safe for people to inhabit.
Would that study be available for the public?
Yes, absolutely.
Will they be required to attend a program, or what are they going to be doing during the day? Are they required to work, attend some type of career, preparation?
Hi, Councilmember, thank you for that question. So our, that program that's going to be at First Street Project, will work with each individual based on their needs to get them connected to the appropriate services. So every person's journey into homelessness is unique. There's a million stories out there, and their journey out of homelessness is also unique. So our team, contractors that are going to be there, case managers and housing navigators at the site, will develop a case plan with each individual to come up with a set of interventions that will work for them and get them to the permanent housing.
The concern is that they will congregate around the area, or outside of the area during the day, and possibly cause disruptions to the community.
Understanding is that the cost will be $3 million to operate on an annual basis. Is this fully funded by the county?
Yes, correct. And of course, county, there's a lot of, acknowledging a lot of uncertainty right now from all levels of government, but county has a rigorous planning process for the budgets and annually and on an ongoing basis. So we work with our county's fiscal representatives to work on our budgets and work through any type of funding streams and any programs that continue. The worst case scenario, if in the future the program had to end, then the counties will come down and start being turned over back to county. We don't anticipate that, but again, in the worst case scenario, that's what would happen.
Okay, and my last question. Can you give me 2 or 3 examples of certain things that will be reasons to terminate the service for a program or to keep people out of the program? What are 2 or 3 things that they absolutely cannot do or else they're no longer part of the program?
Of course, so some of the examples that we have had in our other programs, the one that I mentioned would be if they bring drugs or alcohol and use them on site. Also, if there's any act of violence towards staff or any other resident, those would be kind of examples for dismissal. We would work with the person, of course, to ensure that they are
situated, you know, somewhere else and work with them to the best of our ability and work, you know, to get them connected to other services that might help them better.
Okay, so they can't do drugs and alcohol on site, but can they do them off-site, like outside the gate?
No, we will not be able to do them outside of the facility.
Again, can we please stay quiet at this juncture so we can listen to the information? Thank you so much. So just a reminder, if people are not complying with the guidelines, then, you know, we will have to ask people to leave. We all need to listen to this information. This is a community event, which means everyone needs to listen. Please don't prevent that from happening. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, the residents will not be allowed to loiter around the site and engage in any illegal activity. So we will, you know, we will have security that secures the perimeter of our site, and addresses any issues that might come up.
Okay, and to that, will there be like ongoing drug and alcohol testing to make sure that they are drug and alcohol free?
So, no, we will not be requiring on-site.
Please settle down. Thank you.
Councilmember Herdia, any other questions?
Yes, I definitely have some questions. Thank you so much for coming today. She asked a lot of really great questions. Thank you, Yadira, for that. Let me see where we're at. Does council get any kind of vote on this? Do we have any rights, to say this project doesn't really work in our community?
Councilmember Meridia, I will ask the city attorney to answer that question.
Thank you very much. I just want to briefly answer your question, which is that no city approvals are necessary for the county's project to move forward.
You have no say.
Correct. The county can build and operate an emergency shelter at the Troy Street property, which is owned by Caltrans, without having to consult with the city or otherwise comply with any city building or zoning ordinances. The project does not require any city approvals. The county's authority to move forward is based on California's Shelter Crisis Act, the government code, and the declaration of emergency shelter crisis by the county. All of that information is contained in the county's staff report, which is dated July 16th, 2024. It includes their CEQA analysis, the basis of their ability to move forward in the city without any kind of approvals from the city. And the reason is because it's an emergency, and the state has declared it a shelter emergency. And when that happens, it takes away from local jurisdictions the ability of the local jurisdiction to have any oversight over such a shelter. So I want to be clear.
So then why did you say yes to it? So no instructions, please. Please, we're here to listen. So listen, just a reminder, there's going to be lots of opportunity for you guys to ask your questions at the end, I promise. So please, just be a little respectful. Let's hear what they have to say, and you can ask at the vote at the end, okay? Thank you.
Okay, my next question is, let's see. So obviously the community is not in favor of this, and they were sort of duped into thinking that they had a voice. It's super unfortunate that you don't have a voice, and I'm sorry that you don't. However, do we get a say in some things that we want to see? Because this neighborhood is really trying to kind of come up in our image, not go down. And I don't really think that your plan, as far as how it looks, is aesthetically pleasing. It looks like a little tiny creek. And it looks like Chula Vistas, and it's just really not meant for this neighborhood. We're next to 5 schools on this. There's a liquor store across the street. If sobriety is not required, this doesn't fit here. My next question is, how long is the lease for?
Early leases through 2028.
So it's a 2 year lease.
It's a 3-year lease, and then there'll be some change in legislation that will either continue that or we'll have to renegotiate the lease with Caltrans.
Okay, and then at the end of that lease, or at the point where you decide this hasn't worked well, or whatever possible thing comes before us where we have to close it down, you put it back to the original, just a grassy lawn.
It'll go back to its original state.
Okay, good. So since no cars are allowed for the residents, and no sobriety is required, that means that they're gonna leave the gate, go into the neighborhoods, do the drugs, come back. Okay, now here's what the public has asked me to ask.
Yes.
Well, I already addressed the liquor store and the 5 schools, we know that's not acceptable. No barrier, no thank you. Crime and safety of the residents in the area, what are we gonna do as far as increasing sheriff patrol? We're already an underserved, underfunded community, we don't have these resources, so what power do we have to say, hey, if you're gonna do this in our community, we need a couple more sheriffs, we need, we don't have a rec center. Can you open a rec center? Because we need a rec center for our youth that's in danger of being homeless. Can we negotiate anything like that? Do we have that right?
You guys can vote to litigate against the council.
Okay, so we're gonna just go back to the guidelines. We're not heckling, we're not interrupting. We need to listen to the information, and there's so much opportunity again for every one of you to make a point. Okay, thank you.
So can we negotiate a more sheriff and maybe something to help us with our rec center or other community services? Because we're poor in that department.
And council members really jump in. That is something that we're here tonight, so if there are suggestions you would like staff to address with the county on that, we would certainly do that, and the county staff is here to hear that. So if your suggestion is that we would like to have the staff to negotiate maybe additional sheriff in that area that works both the Spring Valley and Lemon Grove area, I could work with the county staff to perhaps make that happen. Like how those negotiations are. So that's what we're here tonight is to give some feedback to the county staff to say, hey, if this is gonna go in, because we don't really have a choice to say yes or no, what we can do is we would like to see some of these changes. And then that will be with county staff, and we're taking notes, and so that will be my marching orders to continue to negotiate with county staff.
Okay, so the answer to that, everybody in the crowd, is yes, we do have the right to say we want this and that. And hopefully they listen. I did have a problem with the diagram where the entrance is. That's a really tricky spot to be coming in and out. It's not safe. There's an incline, it's blind. I don't see how that's a good spot for cars to come in and out. And honestly, on the other side of that property, it's not a good site either because it's got a little bit of a blind curve. So you may want to rethink where you put that. Can we change it to what we were told in the beginning, that this was for homeless families? And specifically, I think we were even told that it was for like the 200 homeless children in the school district. So can we prioritize those people? And 24-hour security, is that just like a rental?
Jessica, can I do a point of order, because I really want to hear the answer to that question. So can you go back a question and repeat that again?
Can we go back to, we were told originally that this was gonna be for homeless families, specifically in our school district where we have 200 homeless children. Can we prioritize them first?
So this program, will not be serving families. The county has not shared that before. So this program always attempts to serve people that are 18 or older. Youth, or seniors, or single women, and people like that. We have another program that serves families, so we intend to continue using that program for families that is better suited for that type of population.
And are you targeting our youth and the homeless population in our schools then? For that program?
Council member, we have met with the school superintendent and offered our services, so that invitation is open for any referral to come on with.
Thank you so much. And I think that's it for now, but I'm sure I'll pick up more. Thank you.
Councilmember Faya?
Yes, thank you guys for being here. I'd like for the, just for the county team, if you can define what the word emergency means. Because if this is a 2018 state of emergency, we're 7 years late. No. We're 7 years late and we're 7 years behind, so that means for 7 years, we've had overdoses, we've had deaths, with all these things because we're dragging our feet because we're in a state of emergency. So what I would like to know, what is the definition of emergency to the county of San Diego? Because the thing is, there's plenty of nonprofit organizations who are boots to the ground. We have people boots to the ground in our city who are grinding every single day of the week to make sure that we take care of our unhoused and homelessness problem in our city. So my definition, if you're going to come here and you're going to come and you're going to help our city and help the local communities around us, I think we need to change the definition of what emergency means, because emergency means, hey, it's like tomorrow. That's me. That's how I understand emergency. So that's my first question. My second question. Oh, sorry.
We certainly agree and sympathize with you. The homelessness has risen in our region and in our state significantly in recent years. So absolutely, it's a state of emergency. County has been working for many years and operates different programs that have been operational since 2019 to offer emergency housing to people experiencing homelessness. This is another option that creates a non-congregate interim housing to offer as an additional option for those who may not be a fit for the program.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Chrisman, if you could, in your presentation, sir, you said that you solicited public feedback. Can you define what public feedback means? Because did you solicit information from the gas station owner across the street or from the local businesses locally right across the street who are affected by the amount of just homelessness that breaks into their businesses? Did you solicit information from them and from the neighbors who are going to be neighboring this Troy Street project?
Councilman Wright, personally attended a public webinar in November. I also attended a small group meeting in November as well to present the concept design. I did not do the door knocking, but I believe Deanna and her team did do the outreach to the neighboring properties.
Okay, no, we're not calling out like that. Please be respectful.
Nice, chill, right? Hey, we're all trying to get the information. Just chill. Listen, so Leon, if you could answer me just this one question. So did the surrounding businesses know about the Zoom meeting?
So information was shared in a flyer publicly for anyone to attend the webinar. So it was posted advertised to our social media, and the teams were in the immediate neighborhood passing out the flyer.
Ms. Beck, can you also go back to the original question Mr. Fire had, and what outreach did your team do to the surrounding properties and businesses? Your answer sort of got shot down.
Yes, the team did put outreach in the immediate area of the site, and advertised the Zoom webinar that was happening in November. We also did a community event on November 16th that was held here in the city of London Grove, and we at that time provided information and solicited information on the design as well.
Okay, thank you. With all due respect, what are the measurables of success for this program? Like here, let me give you 3 points that I'm thinking about. How do you measure the percentages of the people who find permanent and affordable housing? Because this is supposed to be a transition from point A to point B, in hopes that they'll they'll be contributors to society. So one, how do they find permanent and affordable housing? One. Two, do they become clean and sober? Okay? And then three, do they find employment? So how do we measure the success of this program? Because, and then, yeah, just sort of quickly answer.
Great question, thank you for that question. So we, measure the success by connecting the ultimate goal, bar none, is connecting people to permanent housing. That's always the goal for all our other programs too. And those that you described, getting clean and sober, getting a job, or, reconnecting with family support and other things, stabilizing, those are all building blocks to that permanent.
Thank you. And then if you could give me an example of some cities that are doing a program such as like the Troy Street Project. Can you give me some examples of the cities that are doing it well? And then how the model that the model that is being introduced to us, where is that from? And how's the model of success? Like, because here's the deal. None of us are opposed to helping the unhoused and homeless, but we do want a successful program. So how do we measure that success? And if there are any other cities in the surrounding areas of Lemon Grove that are doing this kind of type of program?
Yeah, thank you for that question as well. So we had, during our initial round of community engagement, people voiced strong support for non-congregate shelters. And at that time, there was few communities in Los Angeles and surrounding areas that were putting up these types of emergency housing programs. So we went and visited, and we know that each and every program we talk to says that communities are safer when people are housed, and that includes interim housing. And so all of these communities that had these types of projects had seen a reduced number of encampments, of incidents in the nearby areas and communities, and they were able to successfully navigate a lot of people into permanent housing. Locally, the county actually contributed funding to the Chula Vista project for their sleeping cabins. So there is a local project that's about the same size as this one will be, of about 60 cabins. That's currently operating in Chula Vista and is connecting people to that permanent housing as well, similar program.
And that, being that you mentioned Chula Vista, is there a way you can give me numbers? I'm a numbers guy, so if you can give me numbers of like these success stories of people coming out of the Chula Vista program.
We would be very happy to connect you with their homelessness manager who can provide that information. We connect with her all the time and have regular meetings so we can get that information.
And then my last question is, in this here, it says the program includes case management, housing navigation to permanent housing options, access to behavioral health, employment services, credit care, and many other supportive services. My concern for our city and our concern for our unhoused and homeless is that if we don't have a handle of how we can help them become drug free and work them off the stuff that they're enslaved to, if we can't do that, then how do we measure that success? Because it seems like right now it's like if we can't say, hey, if there is no boundary or there is no stipulation, if someone goes and does drugs outside 3 blocks away and they come back and they're under the influence, but yet they're part of the program, so we have to let them in. To me, that's not a measure of success. We're actually just enabling them.
So council member, we heard very similar concerns with our other 2 programs, the safe parking programs, exact same concerns. We have had no incidents of any of that happening. These programs have been operational since 2022. And again, I'm happy to provide data from the sheriff's office to support that if you're interested, but we have not seen any congregation or loitering or drug use in and around these sites. So we hope to operate the site in the same way.
All right, thank you. No further question.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza?
I'm gonna start with a little background, since I was actually on the city council last summer, when we first learned about this program. In March of 2024, I read in the newspaper that the county was receiving 150 tiny sleeping cabins along with a $10 million grant, and was putting them on a lot near the freeway in Spring Valley. I immediately thought we could use maybe a dozen of these units in Lemon Grove for our homeless individuals. At that time, the city's enforcement of its camping, the city has an anti-camping ordinance. Not a lot of people realize that, but we do have one, it's on the books. However, our enforcement of that camping ordinance was limited by a lawsuit that had been filed in Boise, Idaho. With few exceptions, we could not move encampments off city property unless we had a shelter bed in Lemon Grove to move people to. I saw these little cabins as an opportunity to help people who are homeless, but also as a means to help clear encampments in our city, which is a big concern of our residents, is clearing encampments. Monica Montgomery Stepp had recently been elected. I knew her from serving on the Sandag and the MTS boards for many years. In fact, I endorsed her when she ran for supervisor, and I actually...
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can I just stop you there? That is unacceptable. When everybody's quiet, we can all hear. If you're booing and shouting out traitor and other insults, it's just not constructive. Please don't do that. Thank you. Again, if you can stop calling out, we can actually listen to what's happening. That's a distraction. We just don't need that.
Councilman, does it want to proceed?
Making sure everyone's done. When I was first elected to office in 2014, I was advised of the importance of establishing a good relationship with your county supervisor, whether you agree with them or not. The county has access to way more funding than our small city does. And we were entitled to receive some of that, but we need to ask. So I called Monica Montgomery's office, and I asked if I could meet with her and talk about the homeless situation in Lemon Grove. She told me that she was meeting with Councilmember Snow the following week on the same subject. So I asked if I could join that meeting, and they both agreed. We met Supervisor Montgomery and one of her aides on April 26th at Elevated Coffee here in Lemon Grove. Not behind closed doors. We talked about the homeless crisis here in Lemon Grove. Because of our city's small size, we did not have and still do not have access to state funding for the homeless that the county and larger cities had access to. I asked for about 10-12 of the sleeping cabins and a small portion of the funding. The county required free or cheap sites to place the cabins. I suggested a parking area behind the county social services site on Broadway, an MTS parking lot on Massachusetts in San Altos, an area behind the Burger King on the west end of Broadway, some large unused parking lots that are owned by local churches, and we mentioned the Sweetwater and Forest Street site. The county did not have the funds to purchase a large area of land, and neither did Lemon Grove. Monica and her aide left, with a promise to help, but no specifics on how or when. They toured the sites we had suggested, and they drove by some of the larger homeless encampments here in Lemon Grove. As they were leaving, we ran into some Lemon Grove residents. And they might even be here in this room. They were our neighbors. We introduced them to Monica and excitedly told them that the county is here to help us with our homeless situation. We left and stressed that wherever we ended up siting these cabins, we needed to have community buy-in. Lemon Grove did not have the staff or funds to do community outreach. We were promised that the county would do the necessary outreach. I never met or spoke with Monica Montgomery again about our homeless crisis after this in Lemon Grove. There was never any collusion or backdoor deals or promises made. My intentions were simply to help our homeless already here in our community and to strengthen our ability to enforce our camping ordinance, our anti-camping ordinance. In June, I read that the county decided not to place the cabins in Spring Valley and that the state is taking back the grant and the cabins. I was very disappointed. Even though the Boise decision had been overturned, I still wanted to help some of our homeless population here in Lemon Grove. Next, I heard that the county was going to put 60 to 70 sleeping cabins on the Sweetwater and Troy site in Lemon Grove. The county voted unanimously on this matter in mid-July. The county held a very contentious town hall meeting in Lemon Grove a few days later. I personally haven't received updates from the county on this project. Our city manager has been attending meetings with the county and providing us with updates. When she first showed me the county plans, my immediate response was, it looked to me like there were too many of these cabins on one site and they were concentrating too many people in one area. Although you did clear up one of those matters, I was concerned that there were going to be 2 people in every cabin, and that would be 140 people, and I didn't even know how that would be possible. Most of the questions I've had have been answered by my colleagues or answered by your presentation, and I appreciate that. A few more things, just some things I'd like to, suggest to have you guys here as suggestions, but also my council colleagues and the community, which I'm looking forward to hearing my community's ideas. I still think that fewer cabins on this site, I would like to see fewer. You're really concentrating a lot of people in a very small area. And if you've already ordered all these cabins, then we could distribute them around Lemon Grove at local church sites, like they have in other areas. I think that this. I do think the site needs more parking spaces, and I hate to see that you're restricting this to people who don't have cars. There are a lot of homeless in the East County, Lemon Grove in East County, who do have cars. And you need bike racks. If they don't have a car, they're riding a bike. You said there would be a dog area. Let's prioritize our seniors, our veterans, our disabled. They're living on very low restricted incomes, and they just can't afford housing I think SSI is like $1,200 a month. How are you gonna have a place to live on $1,200 a month? That's why we see so many seniors and disabled people out on our streets. single parents with children, a cabin could accommodate a single parent and a child. And, I will leave it up to our city manager to negotiate, but I would suggest at least half be reserved for London Grove and Spring Valley residents, homeless residents. You mentioned sidewalks, but we also need, some better crosswalks at all the corners. There is a bus stop right in front, so that needs to be, people are gonna have to cross the street to take the bus the other way. Let's see. I like that you have a storage area, because that's often an impediment for people to accept housing, is these cabins are small, and people have stuff, and they need a place to put their stuff. Smoking, a lot of people who are homeless smoke, and, just be mindful of where you have a smoking area, when you're building this. And a curfew, that's something else to consider. I think that there should be a curfew. So I'm basing a lot of this on my own personal experience. For 30 years, I've been volunteering with a group called Interfaith Shelter Network. And we, with other churches in San Diego, I think there's what they call 5 rotations, East County, Central, North, South. And each rotation houses up to 12 homeless individuals, men, women, children, elderly, disabled, for 3 to 4 months. And my church has been doing this for 30 years. I've been volunteering for 25 years, and for the last probably 12 years, I've actually been in charge of my program. Interfaith Shelter uses the county for social services. They contract with the county for our social services. It's very successful. This program is very successful, and I'd like to see you mirror it as much as possible. Just in my little East County rotation, 12 people. We've already housed 3 men and one woman, and people just keep coming in. We've got, right now we have 7 women, ranging from 22 years old to my age, 68 years old. We have 2 young guys, an 18-year-old and a 30-year-old, and 3 children, a baby, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old. This is the face of homelessness, people. These are people who have been living on the street, and in November, they found shelter. And every 2 weeks, they move from one church to another church. And they're not all drug addicts, they're not all alcoholics. If you've actually worked with the homeless population, you would know this. And I have seen success, and I know it can be successful. But I'm not 100% in favor with the plans for the site. I think I would like at the end of the day for our council to come together and, we've asked some excellent questions and make maybe some suggestions that we can negotiate with the council. So thank you very much, and thank you for being here to present this.
Thank you for that very comprehensive and thoughtful summary. That was wonderful. Thank you for your service with the Interfaith Shelter Network. That's wonderful.
just checking the time. So, similarly, I want to give a little background to my efforts in this. When I was originally campaigning to be elected to the city council, one of the reasons I did so is because working families are really struggling, and it is difficult to find people with the expertise in the area, with policy experience and everything else to get the job done. And so I spent my years in the trenches, almost 2 decades now, working to make sure that working families can make it during tough economic times. So I came with experience, and I know that there's not one solution. So this is just a part of what we can do to help alleviate housing and homelessness issues in our community. Taking a multifaceted approach. First is housing stabilization for people who are currently experiencing homelessness. This week we were able to announce another grant with the Regional Task Force on Homelessness. One of the loudest things that we heard when we were initially discussing the Troy Street project was, what about the people who are really struggling with mental health issues, really struggling with drug addiction? The Troy Street project is obviously not for them. And so what are we gonna do with those? So we made a lot of progress with the Regional Task Force on Homelessness, and I started that as soon as I got into office. Because we don't have the money in Lemon Grove or the resources to do this ourselves. So we have to build partnerships and we have to work on this. We just got an $8.4 million grant to service the people who are behind Food for Less that are on North Avenue. That is incredible. Now we have another opportunity for the people who are in a more healthy situation to voluntarily enter into the Troy Street program. But my intention was to help those people who need the transitional housing. So when I was advocating for this, and to this day I'm still advocating for this, is to have working families there. I'm really discouraged that the county shut that down. I did not think that that would come out of the county today, so I'm kind of disappointed with that. We have, just as Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza said, the new face of homelessness is no longer just people who are struggling with drug addiction or mental health issues. It is 2 working parents with 2 children who can't afford $3,000 a month for rent. We've got the Kelvin who just opened its market rent. To get a 2-bedroom apartment there, you're looking at upwards of $3,000 a month. I can't afford that. And most people can't. Most people here in Lemon Grove has a $60,000 a year salary. So I'm still fighting to make sure that we can get working families and those 200 kids that don't know where they're gonna sleep at night into this project. I think this project is perfect for them. Because of my experience in the housing industry, most families are able to meet the metrics that Councilmember Fayad is suggesting. That if we want measurable outcomes, if we want people to land in permanent housing, that population of people is most likely to have success through this program. So that will be part of what I'm asking for in this. In addition, we also were able to land the San Diego County pilot program in Lemon Grove. Now, when I first got into office, I was like, I know we don't have money, but we have to solve homelessness. Like, I can't sleep at night if I know that somebody else is out there who is not able to survive in this weather that we've been having. So what are we gonna do to end homelessness? And so one of the things that we were able to do, out of all the 16 cities that do not get an ounce of the funding that comes through the continuum of care, that's all the state funding, we were the only city selected for that. We were the only city selected for the Regional Task Force on Homelessness. Why? Because you have a lot of people up here, just as the Councilmember Fayad said, have opportunities.
There's no match, just like that. Here's the deal. I'm going to go over our guidelines again because we will constantly breaking them. Be respectful. Treat everyone with kindness. Do not boo or cheer. Please focus on the issues and not the individual. No personal attack, please. You will also find these guidelines dotted around the room in which your electoral right. There are numerous sides of guidelines on there. The thing is, if we have disruptions, we can't hear, and No snow.
Thank you. So in addition to the county outreach program, we also have the encampment cleanups that Public Works teams are doing. So that's one of the prongs. The next one is eviction diversion. So we're looking at opportunities to keep people in their houses. The first thing that you have to do when your house starts flooding is you turn off the water. So we gotta turn off the fountain of people really becoming homeless. And so we are working on measures to do that. That includes, we set aside $250,000 to help us with eviction diversion. I'm also looking at habitability repair funding to make sure that the houses that are in disrepair help those landlords out to get the properties back up to where they need to be. And we're also looking at rent stabilization measures. And then the other one is a path to home ownership. The only way to lock in your rent is if you own your own home. And so we're looking for ways to get people into starter homes. So we're looking at solutions all up and down the economic path, but making sure that people stay housed. That is a priority, and this is just a small fraction of what we're trying to do to accomplish that. So for my questions, I just have a couple of follow-up questions. We have just, I want to allay your fears that we're not going to have time to hear you all. Right now, we have 33 speaker slips, and with the time, we will be able to hear all of you, and I will be able to give you all 3 minutes. So just know that you are getting your opportunity to be heard. I'm carefully calculating it. I check the time to make sure that we have all the information out there that you get your turn to. So one of the things I wanted to follow up with was on Councilmember Faya's point. Regarding Councilmember Olivia, for the reasons behind excluding families from this project, why are we including working families? And where was the site that you were referring to that we can send working families to?
Hi, Mayor Snow, thank you for your question. So we have a program that's called Regional Homeless Assistance Program. It's been operational for many years now, and that program leverages local hotels as emergency housing, and we leverage that program to serve families. These sites, based on our research and what we've seen at other sites, are more conducive to serving individuals and not families with children. So we continue to operate our other program to serve our families. We also serve families in our state parking programs as we see many families that are homeless in their vehicles. So based on our data and the population that we serve, this program will serve some of the populations that your council members described, such as youth, transitional age youth, veterans, seniors, single women, and those types of families, and those types of individuals.
So because I work in this industry, I'm trying to keep people housed. Number one, I know that housing, like going and popping around hotels and hotel is not good for children to be bounced around like that. Number two, I don't know how other people sleep in their car. I got a minivan and I've tried to sleep in my minivan and it's more fun, especially if I have children there. And so I don't understand why the county believes that safe parking and sleeping in a car is preferable to a warm, cozy bed in a place with a roof. Can you please explain the logic behind that?
The families are given an option if they would like to enter into our hotel voucher program. They don't have to move. Recent state legislation allows them to stay in the same hotel until they achieve permanent housing. If they want to prefer to stay in their car until they're moved into permanent housing, then that's based on their preference.
So my experience with trying to get people who I'm helping who are going through evictions to get into these programs, the housing vouchers last, there's a finite number and a finite number of days. And in this, in what was approved by the county, there's still included housing vouchers there. And so my experience is that's not adequate and that is not happening. And why can't we give working families the option to stay in a shelter like this instead of going to a hotel where they may or may not have vouchers?
So we appreciate your feedback, and our hotel regional homeless assistance program is not a voucher program. It's actually an emergency housing program that offers all the wraparound support families can stay, generally they stay up to about 6 months, and then we do have, some rental subsidies that they receive as part of that exit to permanent housing.
Okay, and to date, I've never had a client successfully do that in 20 years of doing that my work. So I'm just so you know, like I'm going to be continually hammering on this to be for working families. We need solutions for people who live in this area, and it only makes sense if we have a school close by to have children that can go to that school. So I think that is a really important point to make here. The other issue is public safety. So I've done my homework on this, my due diligence, I've looked at different models, I've looked at safe parking sites for our community, I've looked at different things, and by far, the best results come from temporary shelters. And the evidence showed that where there was transitional housing like this, there was a 40% reduction in police, medical, and psychiatric costs related to the homeless population. So I am in favor of this, but I just need to, because we have the other grant that's helping with some of the people who have more severe issues, all the more reason to put working families into this site. So I'm going to leave it here now for comments. We'll have the opportunity to do more deliberation and provide recommendations as a council at the end, but now we'll turn the time over for public comment. Right now, we are at 7:18, so we have time to be able to give each person 3 minutes. But if you feel like your questions have been answered, then you can say I'm for or against, but just be mindful of everyone's time. If you can make it brief, please do so. But please speak your mind, and we are here to listen. Our role today is more in a listening capacity, and we'll go from there. So I will now turn the time, or we'll move to the public comment section. So as a reminder, because this is a special meeting, public comment is limited to the items listed on the agenda. Speakers must confine their remarks to the agenda items under discussion. We ask that comments remain respectful and relevant to the agenda item. Due to the number of public comments, again, we only had 33 comments, speaker slips, so I believe that we have time to give each person 3 minutes. So I'll give the time back over to our facilitator, Ms. Strong, and she will take it from there.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Ms. Strong. Madam Mayor, we did get some late submissions, so we have 36 speaker slips.
Excellent, thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Snow. Thank you all the council members for that. Okay, so it's what you've been waiting for, your time to be heard. So your questions and comments will be addressed once they've been asked, but please just a reminder, it's not a debate format, so please no back and forth. Clark, please call on the speakers.
Yes, so when your name is called, please approach the mic stand located in the center aisle near the fourth row. You will have 3 minutes to provide your public input. When you hear the first speak, it signals that you have 1 minute remaining. Please direct your comments to the council. I will now call on the first speaker, Vice Mayor Patricia Dillard.
And Madam Mayor, may, as Ms. Dillard is coming up to the podium, we've got 2 team members, city team members on the side, codifying your comments. They're going to be summarizing them, but that will be then transferred to the county staff, so they have a formal record of what we said tonight. I'm sorry, Ms. Dillard, your time.
Well, thank you. A lot of comments. Can you hear me?
No.
Speak directly into the mic and see if that works. Hello? Okay, there we go.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the presentation. There was a lot of information shared today, more than even I knew. But the first thing I want to say is congratulations to the new elected officials. I haven't met all of you, but I did want to extend my congratulations to you. This is a very complicated and difficult issue. And I wanted to get a chance to share what La Mesa is doing. And we are all connected. This is not a bubble for La Mesa or a bubble for Lemon Grove. This is an issue that is across the county and across the state. One of the things that we have going on in La Mesa, and I'll tell you why I'm telling you about it in a minute, is called the HOME program. It stands for Homeless Outreach Mobility Engagement. We work with several nonprofit organizations which happen to be in this room. There's some, but we started with a team about 3 years ago, and we just had one person. And the pressure was on to take the relief off of our police officers, who, by the way, are trained and hired to be police officers, and not really didn't really understand, did the best they could with homelessness, but it was taking a lot of time away from our other public safety issues. And so we started with one gentleman, that was 3 years ago. We now have 4, and they work specifically and are hired and trained to do this job. Yes, the city does pay for this through the police department, but it is working extremely well. And yes, we are focused on families, especially. We have families that are living in their cars, but they actually have jobs. They're going over to Sharp Hospital, for instance, and they're working all day, sometimes 12 hours a day, and then they come back to their cars because they can't afford to live in anywhere, unless they go across the border down to Mexico, Tijuana, whatever. But my point is to share that some of these people come out of Lemon Grove. Some of these people that are in Lemon Grove come out of La Mesa, and on and on. We have a trolley system. People jump on and off. I am a board member of the Metropolitan Transit System, and I also serve on the Public Safety Commission, and yes. Oh, okay, well, thank you for all of your comments. I appreciate the feedback.
Next, we have Rosetta Ugarte, and the next 2 speakers after that is Steve Cobble and Brenda Hatch.
This is directed to the entire panel, county, city, and the project. Please tell us, what do we, the residents of Lemon Grove, need to do to help you understand that we do not want those cabins in Lemon Grove. We the people don't want it in Lemon Grove. Thank you.
I'll just go ahead and, because this is a little different than, this is an agendized item. And so one of the things that I understand that there is a population of people here in Lemon Grove who don't want these cabins. There's also a population of people who absolutely desperately need these cabins. And so we as council members sit here and make tough decisions, but there's a population of people who really need help, and this is a big help to them. And so that's one of the reasons why we're taking input. We want to have the best possible scenario here. But we hear you loud and clear. We know that there's a population of people here that want that, but we also have to listen to the people who need it. Thank you. Mr. Noble, and for the people with signs, you can have your signs, but just don't block other people's views. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Steve Noble, I'm the councilor in the city of Oklahoma, and I'm here at the invitation of one of your council members to share about our tiny home project, not to debate your project. I'll just give you some data about our project so that you have the whole community and the council has data to consider. We've had 6 tiny home cabins in Oklahoma since 2022, a little over 2 years now. In those 2 years, 42 women have gone through those 6 cabins. So you can see we have quite a bit of turnover, meaning they're successful. 78% have gone on to more permanent housing. This is on a private site, Meridian Baptist Church, and we have put through 32 women and 10 children through that. Currently, they are full right now. This is a partnership between the city, Amicus, who is the builder, Meridian's the site host, and Crisis House, who provides ongoing counseling. In those 2 years, there have been no calls for police service, no complaints from neighbors, and no complaints from the elementary school across the street. There's 24-hour security. So why does this work with 78%? In a simple word, screening. It is all about the screening. Remember, this is all women and women with children. They are background checked. They're selected for compatibility with neighborhood uses. They must sign a contract agreeing to meet with counselors weekly, or they are exited from the program. Some people have exited from the program because they wanted a handout and not a handout. This is not a forever home. They get 90 days. It's extendable to 180 days. As you can see, we put through 42 through 6 cabins. It's an average of 7 people per cabin over 2 years, which is a pretty good rate. This is a woman and women children facility only. It has taken on an organic life of itself. One resident, she lost her children to CPS as a result of her problems. Another resident said, I will help you, and she got her children back because of the organic nature of this particular. Some success stories. One woman got a job as a bus driver. Another was a homeless college student and got a scholarship. Children studying in Africa. A car was donated to help them get to medical and job appointments in case they need to leave the services. The success of the program is due to the women themselves. They've done hard work. Their lives and their children are changed forever. They were screened. They were screened. That is the key. And they committed to the rules, to adhere to the rules. If they broke the rules, they're out. And they've worked hard. They've worked for success. 42 women out of 6 cabins in 2 years. That is a data point for all of you to consider. Thank you.
I appreciate that, and to our vice mayor from La Mesa and to the city of El Cajon, Councilmember Henry Goble, we have been the bad neighbors. We don't have shelters and we don't have resources, and we send our people who are unhoused out to their communities to get services. And so I really appreciate what El Cajon has done to take the laboring oar on this and for setting the example. Appreciate that. Okay, can you call the next speaker?
So next we have Brenda Hammond. After Brenda Hammond makes her public comment, the following speakers are Jack Shu and Michelle Krug. And then when you have 1 minute remaining on the timer, go ahead and just wait this 1 minute sign. All right, Brenda, you may begin.
Hi, I'm gonna read the same thing I read at the last city council meeting with a little tweak. I have been thinking about the potential tiny homes the county wants to put at Troy and Sweetwater Road. I have been driving by there often to visit my mother. I stopped a few times to check out the potential area. The excuse of being too close to schools is ridiculous. There's condos and townhomes above that property in question, and that's a barrier between the tiny home property and the school, not to mention the 125 freeway. You know, well, I don't know if you know or have paid attention to the new apartments and condos and townhomes being built all over the area. The rent and mortgage is so expensive to subsidize rent and payments, bedrooms are being pimped out by the hour. And I'm not talking Airbnb, baby. I'm talking about by the hour, know what I mean? Most recently, while I was house sitting in a nearby condo complex, strangers actually walked up to me and asked me how much I would charge by the hour for a bedroom and would that include a shower. So those people worried about government-controlled tiny homes in their neighborhoods, look around you and pay attention to more than your own paranoia. These people had a chance to hear the details at a previous meeting and did not listen to the presentation. If those people have that much time on their hands to complain about something they don't know about, they should use that time to check out the other cities and see that the tiny home program is working. First stop, El Cajon. Thank you, Councilmember Vogel. After reading this to you again, I am just a little disappointed tonight because seems to me that some of the rules and guidelines have changed. And so I'm just hoping, thank you, I'm just hoping that it can get back to what it was originally supposed to be, like some of you council members have said, and even more. Thank you.
Jack Shu. Following Jack Shu, we have Michelle Crew.
Good evening, my name is Jack Shu. For many years I've been involved with the homeless count. It's a countywide, nationwide count of the homeless population. And this last year, I was assigned census tracts not less than half a mile from here, much of Spring Valley. And it reinforced my thoughts on who the homeless population is. And as was mentioned earlier, they are in any journey. But they're all people. They're our neighbors. They have all kinds of backgrounds and many kinds of needs. They need help. And I think that's our job. Our job as human beings. And I think that's what's important. We should be human beings first. And one of the jobs that I think human beings have is to help one another. And that's pretty clear that each jurisdiction, city, county, take its part in doing that. The homeless population is not going to go away. Unfortunately, it may even be growing. And someone mentioned, well, you know, if you don't allow drugs on the site, they may take drugs elsewhere. Well, right now, they may be taking drugs everywhere. At least at this site, we can provide services. At least at this site, we can provide a safe location. We need one in each county. That's our job. That's our job as citizens. As citizens of this community, we have to move forward. Thank you to the county for moving forward.
Where's the residents?
The residents are citizens that we have to take care of our community. And these are members of our community. These are neighbors. And if you believe and have any faith, that's what we have to follow through. So thank you, City of Lemon Grove, for putting this forward and moving ahead with this process. I won't take any more time. Thank you very much.
Jack Shu, formerly on Sandas.
Next, we have Michelle Crew.
Hi, I couldn't agree more with what Jack Shu said. I thank him for his words. Clearly, I'll address the elephant in the room. I didn't get the memo about the test code. I am 100% in favor of this. I came off the strike line for Kaiser mental health professionals, and their colors for their union are red and white. National Union of Healthcare Workers, so that's just to address that. I strongly feel that we have to start somewhere with addressing issues and having wraparound services. There's nothing that's more critical than actually providing housing to let people begin to repair their lives. So around the seniors in particular, I am a member of the California Alliance of Retired Americans, and we really know how many seniors are becoming homeless. In fact, it's the fastest growing group of people becoming homeless because they lose the pension stays the same. And so, as things go up, they're losing housing. I just think that we need to do this address. If we can get, a single parent and a child, that's great. Obviously, tiny homes are not exactly built for that, but I am really glad that the county has chosen Lemon Grove to start this process. Thank you.
Mayor Snow, I will now turn it over to Aaron to answer his questions received. Following his response or responses, I will continue with the public comment period of this agenda.
There it is. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron. You may notice that there was a table at the back where people could submit questions. I'm going to read questions in a minute this evening. So this first question is from Rachel. It says, why all the urgency to make sure Lemon Grove gets these shelters and not Bankers Hill? Who is getting the contracts?
So as Councilmember Bai pointed out, this has been an emergency for a long time, and we're not sitting on our hands anymore with this. We're gonna make sure we're gonna be in the fight to get the resources, and the resources we need are housing and services. And so when we talk about why is there an urgency, it's because we have about 300 people out there sleeping, and it's not safe for us as a community to allow that to continue. The status quo is okay. The contracts have been open. If you wanna look and see what the contracts are, you can reach out to the county to see about what those contracts are. They're out in the open. There is not one of us up here that has a financial interest in this, just an interest in our hearts to do the right thing.
Mayor Snow, can I also ask the county team to address why they chose this side opposed to the city of San Diego side?
Yes, Mayor Snow, in general, the county's charter is to service the eastern portion of the county and the unincorporated areas, and what you're referring to is within the city of San Diego's jurisdiction.
Next, we have Amy Reichert. After Amy's public comment, the next two speakers are Stephanie Burisma and Matt Kushnitzky.
Lemon, I'm so sorry that you have been lied to and that you have gotten the shaft. Even this process tonight has been manipulated. There have been city council members that got to speak first from other cities and other activists, so I'm just wondering if their speaker slips were put in front of other speakers, because I don't think they were here earlier. So with that in mind, I do want to correct some of the things that have been said here tonight. This is a Facebook post right here, and it is from your mayor, Allison Snow. She says the tiny homes are to help working families and seniors struggling with the loss of housing. You have known since the beginning that these cabins can only accommodate 2 people. From the start, Mayor Snow, you used talking points saying that these were going to be for a man and a woman and their 2 children. This is not habitable for a family of 4, and you know it. Now, there is another project that happened in this county. It was happening in Carlsbad, and it was called Windsor Point. And what happened there was the residents were told that that housing would be for veterans. Instead, it has turned into a hellscape. They were lied to, they got the bait and switch, and since its inception in 2022, there have been 762 service calls to the facility from the police. Comparing this project to El Cajon is disingenuous. That's a private property, and it is 6 cabins. This is 70 on public land, run by Caltrans and the county. Which, by the way, the county is broke.
The county is facing a $138 million deficit. We were in a surplus a couple years ago. Forget about the state, billions in debt. And thanks to DOGE, there's not going to be any federal grants coming anytime soon. So, I do want to correct one thing that Councilmember Jennifer Mendoza said. To your point, you said that had these tiny cabins existed just a few years ago, then they would have been able to enforce the camping ban. But this is not a shelter. This is temporary housing, so this would not qualify under that. Furthermore, the case that you stated, Martin versus the city of Boise, it's been overturned. So
Amy,
now,
your time is up.
camping on private property
Amy,
is
your
allowed.
time is up. I will now call on Stephanie.
Thank you. Lemon Grove, stand
Following Stephanie's comments, Matt Kostrinsky.
Real briefly, I'm going to address some of the items that Ms. Rucker brought up. Number one, I'd always ask again, this is the whole point of having this is to have the opportunity for a back and forth to actually address your issues and not just sit there and say,
I just want to say thank you, and it's kind of tough to follow things. What's your name? My name's Stephanie, and just to clarify, I am a Lemon Grove resident, and I have been for a long time. And it's kind of hard to follow Amy. Thank you so much, Amy. And this is my first one, so I'm a little nervous, and I'm sorry that showed. But my 7-year-old daughter last week stood in front of her school, in front of a room of people, and spoke, and so she inspired me to do this, and I sat here about this. And that's why I'm here, is because of her and everybody else's children who are impacted by this. Having this location so close to the schools and our communities and our families, our family community. And I have a unique perspective because I work with people with substance use issues. I help people find their freedom from substances. And part of this is before I work with somebody, I make sure that they're ready for it. I believe that they can change, but they have to know that they're ready for change. And they have to feel purpose in their lives. And without those two things, I won't work with somebody because I know that it's not their time to do that. And so what I'm asking is for more standards and more review of how this goes into effect of people who are really need help and who are ready and willing to receive it. Because I do believe that we as people should take care of each other. And I'm not convinced that this is the right way because this was done in a way that was undemocratic. It has not involved any of our opinion and feedback. That's great that you got feedback on how it looks, but you didn't get any impact or feedback from us. And that's a way for government to overstep their reach by declaring emergency of emergencies. What of our other rights can be taken away because of declarations of emergency? This is a community problem and a community thing that needs to be addressed with us, with these people who are all here, who all care very much. This is not for politicians to force upon us. Thank you.
Next, we have Matt Koszynski, and the next two speakers will be Lucas Spears and Ricky Nunez.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Matt Koszynski. I'm with ASME Local 127. I represent the public works folks here for the City of Lemon Grove. I want to speak out for our members. They're the ones who maintain the facilities here, the parks, the infrastructure, and do other skilled jobs here for the city. While the days typically address their day-to-day work, they also are tasked with dealing with the unsheltered population. I've listened from council meeting to council meeting, people asking for a chance to voice and to be listened to and hear from the county. And I appreciate that there is this forum for that. And hopefully there's input more forward. At this point, I think there's more details out there that we don't know yet. I'd like to say though is that for our folks, day in, day out, they're dealing with Onsite. They're dealing with their candidates, they're dealing with their items, they're dealing with the confrontation, sometimes the hostility that they have to deal with. And going forward, it's not been easy, and it's still not easy for our folks here at Lemon Grove that have to deal with the candidates. And so they'll move them, and then they'll either return to the same place or they'll move to another place. And so it's almost like a whack-a-mole for them. It's very difficult, whether it's the parks or the bridges and everything else here. And so there needs to be a solution for Lemon Grove. Our workers here can't keep going like this. We want them to be able to do a lot of work that the people in the community want done. And while we fight over the homeless and unsheltered, it doesn't address what do we do. And I'm hopeful of wanting to see a solution so our folks get to work, to do the real work of doing the roads and the sewers and everything else that they thought they were originally going to do. But it just can't keep going. So hopefully there's a way to come together as a community and figure out what to do. But I just want to speak up for the workers here who are doing the job every day going out. Instead of being attacked, they're dealing with needles or feces and everything else. And hopefully they're brought in. We're glad to be part of the equation. So if you want to know more about that, they'd be glad to talk more about those things too. Thank you.
Lucas Spears.
My questions were already addressed by the council members.
I'll now turn it over to Ricky Nunez.
Hi, my name is Ricky Nunez. I'm an employee of the Public Works Department. I do want to state that I am in no way representing the city at this moment. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an insight of what it is we do throughout our daily duties. The perspective of the unsheltered individuals that we have, sometimes we go and we clean up homeless encampments. These encampments sometimes include human feces, makeshift weapons. Me, myself personally, have been into physical altercations with them. Sometimes it makes our job difficult to protect our safety. And this is in no way taking sides or anything. We just want to urge that something needs to be done. Me, myself, I've been a resident of Lemon Grove my entire life. I've lived here my entire life. I was born and raised here. I went to this middle school. So I went to the elementary school next door. So I love what I do. I love this city. My family's been here since the early 1900s. I have family members in the audience right now that probably didn't know I was here until I came up. We don't want to draw a line in the sand to divide us. Like Matt just said, as a public works employee that has the opportunity to work in a city that I've lived in for 39 years, I just want everyone to come together and just come up with a solution to help us do our jobs a little bit better. It takes a lot of time for us to do these homeless. We educate them. Sometimes we educate them on simple things. Hey, you can't impede the sidewalk. A wheelchair has to go by. And that's time taken away from us paving roads, doing the potholes, and things like that. So please come to us with your ideas. We're more than welcome to answer any questions about that. As you guys see us in the community, please say hi to us. And yeah, thank you guys for your time.
Next, I'll turn it over to Ernie. Next, we have Humbert Cabrera. Angelica Cabrera. Cabrera. Yeah, so Cabrera, C-A-B-R-E-R-A. Next, we have Leon LeBaron.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Leanne LeBaron, and I am a former Lemon Grove City Council member, and I am going to tell everyone the truth because we are all being lied to tonight. First and foremost, the people of Lemon Grove do have a say. We are not powerless, and we are not voiceless. By different methods, like having people arrested and charged with alleged crimes, you, Madam Mayor, are trying to silence us in order to get this money grab constructed. You will not succeed. To council, you are being told there is nothing you can do about this project. And the truth is, that is an absolute lie. The council majority can do many things to side with the people and show good leadership. Here are two examples from a government standpoint of actions you can take. Mind you, I am no rookie to politics. I have many years of experience on council and prior. Lemon Grove is where I was born and raised. So when I share these words, I'm sharing this to empower the council majority, because up there with all these snakes, you're being lied to. You're being made weak. And we need you to be strong on behalf of the city and the people of the city. 1, you can make or pass a resolution stating your fierce opposition to the Troy Street project. It's very simple to do. And it only takes 2 of you to put it on the agenda. We now have a majority. Use that majority. 2, you can then vote to take legal action against the county and go into closed session to plan a strong legal fight against this project. This is nothing new to the city. We filed lawsuits against the arena allotment numbers that we were granted at one point. It can be done. You can use our tax dollars to fight against this project legally. When people tell you their intentions, believe them. These county officials to the side, they're telling us their intentions. And their intentions are to put people who are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction and severe mental health issues right next to a preschool. They don't need to keep repeating themselves, folks. They've made their intentions very clear. There should be no debate. Be our voice, council majority. Stand up for us. We are not voiceless. We have a say. Exercise your power to be good stewards of this community. Don't believe the lying mayor. She's a coward. Don't believe your lying city council colleague, Jennifer Mendoza. She's a snake. And that lady right there in the glasses, the city manager, she needs to be fired. Don't believe her or the city attorney. Thank you.
I will now turn it over to Aaron to answer questions.
Hello again, everybody. It's kind of a question, but it's more of a comment. Please tell us, what do we, the residents of Lemon Grove, need to do to help you understand that we do not want those taverns in Lemon Grove? This is a county problem. I'm going to read one more while I'm here. It says, a new preschool was just opened at walking distance to the homeless encampment. My own daughter is going to be attending this preschool. How do you think the parents feel about this? It's unsafe. We'd rather have funding go towards our children's education than housing the homeless from the county of San Diego, and that's by Carla Murphy.
I'm looking to my county partners, but I don't think that, these are more comments than questions.
Comments, yeah.
Yes.
Comments.
And we will clarify this, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Rachel Kelly. And the next two speakers following Rachel is Feline T. and Jasmine Mendoza.
Hi, I'm Rachel Kelly. My comment is, how can we trust you, County of San Diego? You have been giving us the runaround about the demographics of who's going to be staying there here. First it was family with children, then it was individuals or couples, and now it's a low barrier shelter. Shame on you guys, and shame on you, Allison Snow, for speaking for us. We never approved this.
Our next speaker, we have Feline T. Following Feline T's comment, I have Jasmine Mendoza.
My name is Selena Tom. I've lived here 54 years, born and raised here in Lemon Grove. Shame on you, Snow, for selling us out. Shame on you for lowering our property values in Lemon Grove and not asking us for permission of this. That was really bad on your part, because we're
I'm happy now.
Jasmine Mendoza. Following Jasmine's comments, the next two speakers are going to be Rachel A. and Larry.
I'm sorry, I can't see the speaker. Please put your sign down.
Following Jasmine's comments, I have Rachel Hay and Larry B.
That is a tough crowd. Thanks for putting up a fight. So my first question is to Beck. You gave us a description of what a low barrier shelter is. I would ask you to please look it up on Google, what the definition of a low barrier shelter is, because it's most certainly not what you said it is. Okay? Low barrier is right there. No rules. Okay? Open to use drugs. You're telling us that drugs are no going to be allowed there, right? But they can use drugs outside of the facility. And there is no way you can control those people.
I'm sorry. We all want to get the full aspect of this, but somebody's waving a sign in the front. Can you please put the sign down? Stop it.
Give her more time.
And please give her more time.
Thank you. And I also think it's a complete fallacy when you say that you're going to get these people into housing 3 to 6 months. If that was a possibility, we wouldn't have these long waiting lists for Section 8 home or low income home. We would not be dealing with homelessness the way that we are. So please don't say that it's 3 to 6 months. That's what it's going to take to get them into stable housing. Complete lie. How can we trust you? That's my last question to you. Allison Snow, you know what? I actually appreciate all of you guys tonight because I heard everything I needed to hear from you guys. Allison Snow, I appreciate you wanting these shelters to go to families. I don't appreciate the fact that you spoke for us. I wish you would have reached out to your city first to let us know what the hell is going on in our city. And I think that's why you are facing so much backlash, because of the tactics and the way that you went about it. The city needs an apology from you. And I think that you need to mend that trust between yourself and these people here. Okay?
Amen.
Teresa? Or Jessica, thank you. Steve, thank you. Yadira, thank you. Ms. Mendoza, I like your idea about those cabins going into churches. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Rachel Hay. Hay. H-A-Y-E. Rachel Hayes.
Hi, I'm Rachel Hayes with Lived Experience Supervisors. And I was homeless for over 10 years. And I've been homeless in your town in Lemon Grove. I've been homeless in probably every almost city in San Diego. I was housed just over a year and a half ago in permanent supportive housing through Alpha Project. I know someone personally that works at the Chula Vista Tiny Cabin, and they are low barrier, and they work. Low barrier does not mean that your bag, when you go in, your bags get searched. If they find drugs, they get rid of them, they write you up, they can throw you out. If you're caught using drugs in the facility, you're immediately exited from the facility. I've been in almost every shelter in San Diego. And only Alpha Project came through with their promise of housing. And I'm in permanent supportive housing, which is rapid, and we have wraparound services, peer counseling, everything you could want or need. And we have community events. The reason why is because I'm dual diagnosed. And the whole time I was on the streets, the only drugs I took were the ones that the doctors prescribed. No street drugs. Not everybody out there you can put on one shoe fits all. Not everybody out there are drug addicts or mentally ill. Yes, I have mental issues. And I go to therapy. And I take meds for them now. Since I've been in housing, it has brought it all back up. And I support these cabins. And you guys are brave to go ahead and do this. Because if I had my choice, and I was on the streets, that's where I would want to be, in one of your cabins. Because you have a door you can close, and with that door comes peace, serenity, and dignity. Thank you.
Next, we have Larry Bonanno.
My name is Larry Bonanno. I'm a longtime resident of Lemon Grove and a longtime business owner in Spring Valley. Over 45 years in each state. My business is directly across the street from this proposed site. We all want to help the homeless, but most of them don't want the help. They don't want to live by rules and regulations. They have mental and drug problems, so first you have to address this problem. Homelessness is a big business. California has spent over $25 billion in the last 6 years. San Diego has spent $25 million in each of the last 6 years. This site doesn't do anything for the homeless in Spring Valley or Lemon Grove. We don't need another 70 to 140 people here. We already have enough problems here at this location. We, the business people and the citizens, have to deal with shopping carts, trash, fights, property they're using as a toilet, bothering our customers, breaking into homes, breaking into cars. The difference between Lemon Grove and Spring Valley is 42 feet of asphalt. That's all it is. Spring Valley has already turned down this project. We in Spring Valley will be impacted the most. What is wrong with Monica Montgomery? She knows that the citizens of Lemon Grove didn't want this proposed site. We have recently learned that these nonprofits and NGOs don't always spend the money for what it's intended for. It goes to benefit themselves and their friends. So ask yourself the question, what is it in for Supervisor Montgomery and Mayor Snow and Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza? Snow and Mendoza know that they could have put this on the agenda at any time in the last 6 to 8 months. Yeah. Why didn't they? What is their motive? Small children live next to this site. Children walk to and from school every day. There's a liquor store at the gas station, a marijuana dispensary at the end of Sweetwater Road. This site will only contribute to the problems that's there. So this is left up to the new city council. The power is in your hands. Listen to the citizens and vote no on this project.
I will now turn it over to Aaron to answer questions.
Thank you, everybody. This, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounced names, is Kiki Jones. I do not support the tiny homes project. City of San Diego population is 1.3 million, La Mesa 60,000, El Cajon 109, I think is what it says, thousand. Linden Grove's 27,000. Why are we responsible for housing City of San Diego homeless? A terrible location on a busy street next to homes and schools, not to mention a liquor store. I'm just gonna do one more. This is from Stephanie M. What happens to these individuals after the 6-month time? Where do they go? To the city of Linden Grove? Question mark. Who pays for them to be escorted to their next destination? The city of Linden Grove? Question mark. So I think that might be for the county staff. What happens?
If you can very, very briefly answer those questions.
Yeah, please lie to us.
And I also believe you previously said in your slide that this would be open to East County residents, primarily London Girls and Spring Valley, correct?
Yes, this program will serve people from the nearby communities, and of course, we work with every individual who has a housing plan in the program to get them to the permanent housing. If people are not successful, of course, we would work with them, including providing transportation and many other supports to get them to their next program that might better suit them.
Next, we have Tanya Uriarte. And the next two speakers will be Audra and Christopher Bain.
Hello, my name is Tanya. I work for the city of Linden Grove in Public Works. I'm a union member of ACME Local 127. I would like to talk for myself as an employee, not on behalf of the city, but for my own experiences as a coworker who works with other employees along. We are here every day trying to fight this homeless out there who are aggressive to us. Sometimes they don't respect us, they don't listen, they don't follow rules, we trash everywhere, they break our playgrounds, our public areas, they literally do it in front of the skate park, one in front of the library, one in front of the rec center, a bunch at the park. So if there could be something different about the situation that's happening right now, that would bring a lot of happiness to me as a community, as I live and work out here. My kids literally walk around, and I'm not even comfortable letting them be out here. Again, as an employee, I just want to make sure that we are heard. We are out here working. We are out here trying. I am so glad that the county is willing to step up and help us, because we can't do this alone. Don't let that perfectly done any good. It's an expression that means it's better to have something that's good enough than to wait for perfection. Let's all come together. Let's find a solution for our communities. We're not policy experts, but we do know the ins and outs of the city. We walk out here, we work out here, we drive out here, we have our families out here, and having homeless is not the best thing out there.
All right, next we have Audra. Following Audra, Christopher Bain. Christopher Bain.
public safety. Public safety is a pretty paramount topic, I think, for tonight. How many people are concerned about the safety of their children by a show of hands? Yeah, right. It's really important to make sure kids in this community are safe. And so that's one of the reasons why earlier today I wanted to do a little research and find out some of the statistics and the facts around public safety, especially for kids. So I found this article. Excuse me. It's called Child Homicide Perpetrators Worldwide, a Systematic Review. And it's by 5 authors. It was published in 2017, and it looked at 126 studies worldwide. And one of the things that it found is that in high-income countries, 64% of homicides against children were committed against their parents, or excuse me, by their parents. Another 12% were committed by acquaintances. So that's 76% of children who are killed in high-income countries are absolutely not in danger from homeless people. And so I think that's really important to look at. I'm sorry to say, but children are in more danger from their parents than they are from somebody who doesn't have a place to go. My second point is second chances. 5 years ago, I came home from serving an 8-year prison term. I was looking at life in prison, and through a plea agreement, I was able to serve 8 years, and I came home. I did a lot worse things than to get high and sleep on the sidewalk. Since coming home, I got my master's degree. I got a degree in conflict management and resolution. I got married. I got married last year to somebody that I met in school. I joined the union. I joined the International Union of Operating Engineers. And I bought a house here. Me and my wife, we bought a house in Lemon Grove. All the places we wanted to live, we really love this neighborhood, this city, and we wanted to move here. So we did. And I want to raise a family here. So yeah, second chances. I'm a big fan of second chances. And I know there's a lot of scary things about this project, and there's some details to work out. But yeah, I think second chances are important. So thank you.
All right, next up we have Gilbert Chavez. The next 2 speakers is Danny Bruner, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Consuela.
Good evening, my name is Angelica Camargo and I'm representative of the Spring Valley Coalition 2024. The reason that I'm here is in regards that Troy Street location. So when they presented last year, Nora Vargas listened to our community. She saw that it was very close to the street, it was very close to the freeway, it wasn't a good location for these type of tiny homes. I just want to tell the people of Lemon Grove, do not stop fighting for it, because as a representative from the county said, we don't have a say on it. I spoke directly with Nora Vargas before she left the seat, and she told me that we can do something about it. So, I just have this writing, and the city of Lemon Grove talks about being a good neighbor. This is a project that is not showing you as a good neighbor to Spring Valley. That location is on the street of Sweetwater, and that pertains to Spring Valley, which we don't have the sheriff department, we don't have the fire department, we don't have anything. If you guys have it in Lemon Grove City, we do not have it on the part of Spring Valley, so who's gonna take care of that part? This project, we believe, when you say we don't have a parameters on rehab counseling requirements, now we know it's a low barrier. it is a handout. You are requiring nothing in exchange. Taxpayers and.
I'm so sorry, I'm gonna stop you just for a second because we're having difficulty hearing you. There's some kind of feedback, so I'm gonna see if we can get that resolved. I'll give you your timeline for sure.
Okay. You are requiring nothing in exchange to live on these tiny homes. Taxpayers are putting the bill and you are putting them in danger. We're the ones supporting that community. The middle class pay for the high class and they don't pay taxes, and for the low class, they don't have to pay even taxes, so we're the ones. Now, our properties, they went down 7.8%, you putting that, shelter in there. Right near to children's school, we have a situation in Spring Valley when one homeless was trying to break in a house when he was a 14-year-old there. They called the sheriff department showed up an hour after. So, that child showed up before the sheriff department showed up. So, across the street is not a good idea. There's already a rate in crime about 165% for the last couple of years. Can you imagine how high it's going to be after? You must either rescind this project or at the very least do it the right way in a different location. All the tiny homes, they're away from the community. They're not in the middle of the community, next to daycares or schools.
Next up, we have Danny Bruner. Following down Danny Bruner, we have Consuelo.
Good evening. I feel, as a result of some of the questions from council member Heredia, that we finally got someplace. We've had people come here since June, since July, asking questions, asking for the matter to try to be agendized. And the question in the room is, do we have a say-so? Can we categorically ask that the project not be brought here? And no one had the moral constitution to stand before the people and say, it is a done deal. And since we found that out today, and since your constituents seem to be in favor of getting rid of this project, will any of you all up there have the moral constitution to go down to Monica Montgomery's office and go to the Board of Supervisors and demand that this project be rescinded? Thank you.
Hi, so first off, I'm gonna go out of order here. I wanted to point out that it wasn't so much that Nora Vargas came to the rescue, it was the people themselves that showed up at these county meetings in opposition. I also want to point out how this issue was put on the city of Lemon Grove. They initially had the county come to my community, which is in Bonita, to propose this site. At that meeting, I warned my community that the county was only here to gauge our residents, to see how accepting they'd be and what they could get away with. Then the county went on to Spring Valley, and we know what happened there. It wasn't Nora, it was the people in opposition at these meetings who were paying attention. They were proactive in attending all these meetings. Okay, so I'm going to go back to what I wanted to say, and it was, so I'm so grateful and I'm hopeful for my Lemon Grove neighbors to see through the smoke and mirrors. Beautiful lip service today from the county and the dais. We know dang well families will not be the ones who will be benefiting from this. This issue is not difficult at all to solve. This issue, like with many others in our county, what my neighbors in Lemon Grove may not know or clearly understand is that our homeless and mental health issues have been very lucrative. It is why their solutions have always been temporary. Federal funds have been endless. They will never even give you a solid answer for a valid question like,
who will be able to access this housing. It should be 100% of Lemon Grove's homeless families accessing these houses, but unfortunately, they won't get the opportunity to do so. When they speak of measuring success of the proposed future tenants, it's a total joke, because there was already a program in the county that literally had 100% actual success from every single person who was in it. That project was called Project 25, look it up. What happened? It was defunded. Why? Because it worked. The people all recovered and became independent. In short, government needs us dependent on them for everything. Why? For control. It's how we've gotten here and where we're at. So when you pause and think about it, it's a sick system. It's beyond corrupt. Yet we all continue to fund this lunacy. Reminder, when they say government funded, it is actually we, the people, taxpayers funded.
I will now turn it over to Ellen. No more? Okay. The next speaker is Paul Ornelas. Following Paul's comments, the next two speakers are Joy Banks and Beatrice Lopez.
Let me just tell you, I'm not a politician, I'm not a CPA, but I know 1 and 1 make 2. And when you guys come up with $11 million for a project that's only temporary, and then another $3 million to maintain each year, you know, what's that come out to $250,000 a year? So for $11 million, it seems like you could have bought the place candy corn across the, I know it's in Spring Valley, and you won't get your hands, your palms greased on that one, but that property is for sale where the massage parlor is, and they could build, you know, 50 units like their permanent housing, and, you know, seniors, people that are less fortunate. Pretty soon my daughter was homeless. Okay, I got her off the street. She has a trailer now. So I know we need a solution to this problem. But $11 million just seems extreme for tiny homes that are at a 3-year lease with Caltrans, and $3 million a year to maintain. All that money's just going down the toilet. And nobody ever first goes to the toilet. Where's the sewer going to be for all those tiny homes? Are they going to have one little outhouse and share it? Where's you thought of that?
My house still does, county hasn't fixed the pipe.
So my question is, where's that $11 million going? And $3 million a year to maintain it? And there's no facility there for job training or counseling or anything. So, you know.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. That's a really good question, yeah, so I'll down to the answer.
Major cost categories for the construction would be utilities. We have to bring in electricity, we have to bring in sewer. There are 6 restrooms with showers, units that are going to be on the site. So the site is also has a pretty steep slope to it.
So the tiny homes won't flood.
10% grade from top to bottom, so we need to level the site. We put in the landscaping, we put in the walkways, the roadways, the pavilions, and all of that adds up to what we currently estimate to be $11.1 million.
Wait, the money.
Next, we have Beatrice Lopez. Following Beatrice's comments, we have Daryl Exline and Aubrey Russell.
Hi, my name is Beatrice Lopez, and I'm a business owner in Lemon Grove. And I personally know a lot of people that care for the homeless. They go directly to them, they give them food, they help them out, they help them. So Lemon Grove cares for the homeless, they really do. But we don't think this is an answer. There's a lot of concerns, there's a lot of questions. And, I'm excited for the $8 million grant, but we need a committee to oversee it, make sure it's spent the right way. I really see homeless every day in my business. I've been hit 3 times. So we need to help our homeless. Hopefully that $8 million can be spent properly for that. But we as a community, we need to have a say, we need to have a voice, and we need to have a vote. And that's all we're asking for.
And not that I don't care for the homeless, because I know people that do. We just wanna be heard, that's all we're asking. And a lot of people are not for this project. And so, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of questions. And a lot of questions here were not answered. So, that's all I have to say.
Next up, we have Daryl Exline. Following Daryl's comments, we have Aubrey Russell and Goldie Gutierrez.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, my fellow residents of Lemon Grove. I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition to the proposed tiny home project here in Lemon Grove. While I recognize the need for solutions to homelessness, this project is not a responsible or effective way to address the issue. First, let's talk about the cost. This project being funded by $11 million from the state, money that ultimately comes from taxpayers. While it may not be directly in the city's budget, it's still public money, and we still have a responsibility to ensure that it is spent wisely. The goal of this project is to transition people into permanent housing. But if we look at real-world results for similar projects, the return on investment is alarming. Consider the Chula Vista Tiny Home Project. I looked it up, I researched the numbers. It has now been operational long enough to provide a clear example of what we can expect. Out of their 65 units, only 40 are currently occupied, not because of a lack of demand, but because of ongoing maintenance issues that have made nearly 40% of the homes unlivable. Even more concerning, after all the money spent in the years it's been open, only 27 individuals have actually transitioned into permanent housing. If we apply that same pattern to the Lemon Grove project, we are looking at a situation where we might spend $11 million only to see a small handful of people, perhaps 40 at best, successfully move into stable housing. That equates to an astounding $275,000 per person that succeeds in the program. For that amount, we could rent each of them a home outright. Instead, we're talking about temporary structures that require ongoing repairs, staffing, and services with no guarantee of success. For $3 million per year in maintenance, that's another $50,000 per unit. Just give them the money if you're going to spend that kind of money on it. Why should Lemon Grove support a project that is already proven ineffective in a neighboring city? Why should we accept a program that, based on real data, is likely to struggle with maintenance problems and fail to meet its long-term goals? If the state is willing to spend $11 million, we should be advocating for solutions that are proven to work, not experimental projects with a poor track record. Additionally, we must consider the impact on our community. While we all want to help those in need, we must also acknowledge that poorly managed programs can lead to unintended consequences, a strain on local resources, increased crime, and declining neighborhood conditions. Other cities have learned these lessons the hard way. We have the benefit of learning from their mistakes before making our own. Lemon Grove has an opportunity to push back and demand better. We must urge the state to allocate this funding toward real lasting solutions, whether it's addiction counseling, job training, mental health resources, or other cost-effective strategies that address homelessness at its core. We cannot afford to throw $1 million at plan.
Your time is up. Daryl, your time is up. Next, we have Aubrey Russell. You come to the.
Don't get handcuffed. Don't get handcuffed, Donald. What am I not supposed to say?
Hello, my name is Aubrey. I'm a native of LD. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Lemon Grove Neighborhood Association. Allison, back in June, you left me a voicemail after the news broke out of the claiming LG government wanted these tiny homes. This has been the San Diego board voted unanimously yes in favor of this for our city. Now I'm going to quote you from June 25th, 2024 at 8:34 p.m. from a voice message. Hey Aubrey, it's Allison Snow. I just wanted to reach out. I want you to know I'm not off the rails and we aren't going to do a single thing without getting a ton of community input and engagement.
You did not.
And hear from everybody about what they want to do as far as the homeless crisis goes. I would love to talk to you and get your input. We are gonna do some town halls and community engagement on it, but I know you're boots on the ground, and do so much for in our community. I really care about what you think and put. Do you still care about what I think? Do you care about what your constituents think?
Nope.
You voted yes to something and you didn't even know what you voted yes to, because you're sitting here and you said F word across the way after you found out it wasn't for children and women.
Which was fake, because she knew.
You said,
She knew.
maybe it was fun.
Remember.
You might not have said F, you said fun, maybe F.
Whatever, she knew.
We did not get a bunch of community engagement. We did not get town halls.
Nothing.
This is the first time we've been able to be here and speak to you and speak to now our new council about this since last, what was it, July?
Mm-hmm.
The people of LG have told you this countless times. Please put it on the agenda. Please let's have a vote. Every meeting. We're done telling you. And now you have led the people to want to recall you.
Yep. Yes.
I know this is not what we wanted for your first term as mayor. And unfortunately, we didn't need it.
She's alone.
But you're using Lemon Grove as a political stepping stone, and we're watching. But by God is my witness, truth will be brought to light for Lemon Grove. Thank you.
Next, we have Gordy Gutierrez. Following Gordy's comments, I have Paul Rothang and Yvette Woods.
Warren Mendoza are snakes and liars.
Hi, good evening to everyone. For years, I lived in Lemon Grove and I raised 3 beautiful daughters. And at the time that I was raising them, I was so fortunate to have my mother help me. So a lot of the issues that I see nowadays, we weren't really facing them as severe as now. But this whole issue that is impactful to the community. Today I came and I'm listening to what was going on, and I was utterly appalled to hear the panel. I think it was the mayor or someone there said that they're just here doing this dealings, and the input or whatever the people are thinking, the residents of Lemon Grove, does not make a difference. It's not up to them, it's up to you to decide about these cabins. And for a minute, I thought, where are we? Mm-hmm. It sounded like a third world country, what you said to the people here. Because everyone was here because they want to make sure that their voice and the decision over how this town needs to be addressed in terms of safety for their children. When my children were little, I was always on top of making sure that they were safe. Now, as I see the city now, there are many problems that could be addressed before you try to move a project that is not even going to be successful as the way I heard that it is planned to be run. 6 months to 3 years, and then people are going to be changed. Well, it doesn't sound like a good business, even for the people that don't have a place to live. That does not sound something that is going to be long-term and effective, because it lacks a whole circle of making it work. It's not just to give you a shelter, but to have that type of dwellings for people that don't have a house. You need to work on other issues to make sure that they will be centered and focused to change their lives, not just come through the city and cause a ruckus and get all of the parents all worried about their children. And I do understand, I'm now a grandmother, but when I was a mother, I would have seen this as a very, very scary situation for my children. So when you said that even them being here, it doesn't sound right.
Why would you allow and open the doors for them to come? If you're not gonna be, by this time, I'm sure that you all know that the town opposes this issue of the houses for the homeless. So I'm just like, if you don't care, I mean, if this project,
Voting,
according to
your
what I
time is
heard,
up.
is gonna
I
go
will now call
forward,
on Paul.
why do you have everyone here?
Following Paul on his comments, the next two speakers are Brent Rhodes and Julie Porter.
Good evening. First off, thank you very much. You guys have great questions. First off, homelessness has been forever. We used to call them homeless when we were young. So it's not been a problem that we just learned about. Also, the homeless was addressed way back in the 90s when they talked about Petco Park. So the government just put it off. Everything's always put off, and this is why we're in what we're in. Lemon Grove is not the spot for it. What are you guys doing it? My one question is, okay, when they do get kicked out, if that was the case, would they just be put out of the case and now we'll shut it in our neighborhoods? Another one is, why couldn't this be in a commercial area, like Chula Vistas? But we did look up Chula Vistas, and it's easy to access. It's a low success rate, so it's funny you guys couldn't get that. Someone did right back there like that. Also, I would think that would be less to have 60 people. That's ridiculous. And another big thing is that is state grounds that's on. If I'm not mistaken, even in the prison system that I worked for 30 years, there's no smoking in state grounds. So how are you going to let these people smoke on state grounds? Everything in the prison system, he knows you can't smoke in prison anymore. Think about that with the inmates. But yes, here's where your naiveness is. You paint this pretty picture of how it's going to be. Let me tell you, in the prison system, drugs, alcohol, you're still smoking there, weapons, and you're not going to stop it. I've even heard, in fact, my sister who worked at the homeless in Riverside, they have squatters inside these cabins. Because how many security do you have? Let me tell you, being a prison guard, inmates know what to do. They can distract me over here, boom, something's happening over here. It's funny how you have it set up a little circle and stuff, because it reminds me of CMC, where I started, which is California Men's Colony. That circle, that tower, I had to do it 4 days. It was insane. The security's not gonna have that. 60 people? That's crazy. So, no, and the other thing is, it's just security. So think about it. Do you jeopardize your job or your life for $20 an hour? Probably not. I mean, even my little, as a prison guard, I didn't want to die, but stuff happens and that's my job. I have to respond to it. So, let's see what else. Are they testing periodically? You say this is not allowed and all that. Really? I don't do drugs. I had a brother who was a drug addict. He did time in prison, on and up, back and forth. Getting programs, fall, she passed away 2 years ago. Alcohol, so.
Your time is up. Thank you. Next, we have Yvette Woods. Following Yvette Woods, the next two speakers are Julie Porter and Ron Woods. Julie Porter.
Good evening. My name is Julie Porter. I'm with the Supervisors. I came from the street myself. I used to have a nice house right up the road here in a nice neighborhood called Mount Helix. I lost my house. Divorce and real estate bubble. I lost my house for 20 years. I ended up on the street. Did I turn to alcohol? Oh yeah, I did. Did I become sober? On the street I did. Through smart recovery. and through a very good program through UCSD that was funded by the county. I did it on my own. I chose a better way of life because I was paid attention to. I was seen as a human being. Now I'm quite a bit older. I was housed in 2017. And yes, it was said, and it's true, seniors are the largest growing population of homeless today. That's because our social security doesn't go up to meet our rent. And the rent keeps going up, but social doesn't, as you know. I make it by somehow. I got my permanent supportive housing. I volunteer in my neighborhood. I go to city council. I go to county board of supervisors, and tonight I'm here in Lemon Grove. These tiny homes are a very good idea for a start, fresh start for some humans, some deserving humans that want it. And they can do it because they're humans. Humans aren't powerless. Thank you for hearing me tonight.
Next, we have Ronnie Woods. Following Ronnie Woods, the next two speakers are David Eckler and Victor Vega.
So first of all, I'd like to address that. How much money did you pay beside mediators here to stand up for you people? I mean, that's waste taxpayer money right there. Second of all, the county reps over here, they said they were looking in surrounding areas to make these decisions. And then they started talking about LA. LA is not our surrounding area. Ask about Chula Vista, you had no hard data. Like these gentlemen back here, I looked it up on my phone, it took like 2 minutes. It's a failure. So, and to close, County Supervisor Monica, friends, which you said you were, Ms. Snow and Ms. Mendoza, concocted a fairy tale that has failed to meet its original expectations. You guys should be ashamed of yourself.
Next up, we have David Eckler. Following David Eckler, I have Victor Vega and Alejandra Camargo.
Good evening. Hey, first of all, I want to thank the new council members for asking a lot of really important questions. I had an opportunity several months ago to go down to Chula Vista to circle the wagon on the homeless situation there, the tiny homes. And I was there about an hour and a half and almost got arrested. Now, while I was there and sitting on the outside of the facility with another council member, they were doing drugs, and people were coming out. Guys were selling or giving them alcohol, and they went back into the facility. Now, we're going to have the same situation here in Lemon Grove on Troy Street. 2-minute walk from the school for kids. What we need is a wraparound program like Kiva, Gene McAllister, Freedom Ranch, that takes these individuals in for 6 months to a year and really works with them and works with them hard. And even that percentage of success is low. But they really take a hold and challenge these individuals on all levels, spiritually, whatever their issue is, drugs, alcohol. They challenge them, and they confine them, and they're restricted. And it's usually the ones that really want to help that become a success story. And these two individuals that were here earlier that shared about being homeless and making it happen, I commend you. I'm proud of you. But you've got to have it in you to make it happen. But what we found out, and I found out in the last year and a half working with the homeless here in Lemon Grove, it is a hand up, not a handout. And the reality is, unless somebody's really serious, they're not gonna get into a program unless they're forced by family or whatever. It's not gonna happen, and it takes a long time for them to work through this. So don't kid yourself on the tiny home situation. It will not be a productive program, period. It's a revolving door where people come in and out, percentage of. Then I agree with you, elderly people, we've got a lot of people that are homeless, it's becoming a major issue. I took 2 people in my house for over 10 years, homeless people. Are you willing to do that? I did. But what we have in the street oftentimes, we have mental illness that's upwards of 60%. Schizophrenia. We have some really heavy underlying problems. And it really has to be wrapped around, it has to be addressed on that issue. This is a farce. At least it was in Chula Vista, and I can't see it getting any better here. By the way,
Thank
the whole
you,
time,
David. Your time is up.
the whole time I was there,
On the next
security was
speaker,
watching.
Victor Vega, following Victor Vega, and Councilor C.
I'm gonna throw out some statistics for you guys here. In the last 5 years, government usually spent $24 billion on the homeless program. If we would have given every homeless person in California, which is about 187,000, we could have given them $157,000 each. That's good enough for a down payment on a condo or a house. Okay? If we're gonna do this here in Lemon Grove, you're talking about spending $11 million. We could give each family right now $157,000. $157,000. That's good enough for a down payment. Or, like this gentleman said, why don't we pay the rent? We could give them $50,000 a year to pay the rent for 1 year. If it takes 6 months to get them back on their footing, 1 year would do miracles for them. Now, I looked up you guys' data. I couldn't find this channel right there. Sir, you live in Rancho Penasquitos, correct? Sir, you live in Coronado. You live in Rancho Bernardo. Right. Why does Coronado have a homeless law where they can't camp out there and you ship your people out of Coronado? How come we're not building these houses in Coronado, Rancho Penasquitos, Rancho Bernardo, Solana Beach, Lemon Grove? Not Lemon Grove. I'm gonna ask you the same thing that I asked Ms. Montgomery. Why don't you guys put an AUD in your backyard and allow these people to come in? I know you know 70 people. 7 people that could allow these people in. And as far as the city council, you guys have the moral authority from us, or the moral responsibility to talk to these gentlemen and this lady and let them know that we don't want these here. I don't think the people of Lemon Grove are against helping the homeless. We just know that this doesn't work. And as our law enforcement officer, when people don't want help, they're not gonna get it. And you can bring in another home police department officer that will tell you right now that in the homeless department, they tell me, I like living on my own, I like doing what I like. And they don't wanna live by responsibilities. You guys have that moral responsibility to tell them that we don't want them here. Half the people here are already gone. Because I think they're tired of listening to this argument that these things are gonna be a success. And it's not. And I've lived here 30 years, and I've watched Lemon Grove go downhill, and this is gonna make it worse. Gentlemen, we need to push this somewhere else. Ask La Jolla, ask Del Mar, ask Carlsbad, Solana Beach, La Costa. Why can't we do it up there? We have plenty of open land up there where you can put something. Listen to the people who vote. That's you, City Council. Listen to the people
Thank
who
you,
vote.
Victor. I want to turn to Can I just point out something quick? So it sounded a bit like an attack on the folks that were up there. These folks, just wait a minute, these folks are technical staff members from the County of San Diego. They are not influencing the decisions in their local communities like that. So,
Yes.
I understand, but if you guys could avoid directing your anger at the folks who are technical staff, I would really appreciate it. They're here to answer questions and do their job. So that's what it's for. Folks, I understand that. Ma'am, I'm just warning you right now, okay? We're going to try to get through this, we only have 40 more minutes. Okay, so we're trying to get through all the speakers. Ma'am, please continue.
Here I am again talking about my personal experience. I am a healthcare provider. I used to work for St. Vincent de Paul. I know when a homeless person doesn't want to get help, he's not going to get it. I've been working in the healthcare field for more than 20 years, and I see folks coming in, overdose, and they never get there. Some of them. And it's the same thing. We don't have to pay taxes, we don't have to work, they give us cowards, they give us food stamps. Why do we have to work for it? I even went to ask one of the liquor stores there, do you agree with this in here? And he said, that's business for me. You see that outside house, that, you know, all that area in Troy Street is, we have the reports in here of how many times the sheriff's house was full. And it's like child prostitution, drugs, places they say they give massage, and it's a drug house, fentanyl. Why do you guys want to put these in the middle of that community? That's my question. The county owns thousands of properties. They will take like no more than $5 million to fix it, to house all these people. Why do you guys want to put it in the middle of that community? When a child gets lost, or when a child gets molested, or elderly people gets, killed by one of these members, do you guys want to be responsible for that? Who's going to be responsible when something like that happens? Because it's still happening. Spring Valley is getting worse day by day. And we don't have a sheriff. You guys putting these shelter in there, it's not helping us neither. And we don't want it in there because it's a Spring Valley. It's not only Yellow Road. We are neighbors. We need to work together. We don't want it in there. I was there, Mayor, when you offered the city of Lemon Road. You say we want the shelter in there. I was there in that private meeting with Monica, and I see all the ugliness behind closed doors. And I am not, like I say, I'm here protecting my community, my child's, that future is going to be a bunch of high school kids graduating from high school with no home. With no home. Those are the people that we need to help, not someone that doesn't want to get help. Our future. We need to help our future. Not these people that they don't want to get help. Have a project like St. Vincent de Paul. They live there, they have to live there, they have to get therapy, it's a lot of mental health issues in there. It's schizophrenia. If you pass right now by commercial road, you cannot pass by there. Because why? Because it's a person with a schizophrenia, carrying a big people in there, everyone goes around. In the morning when the kids go there, it's a bunch of parents that have to be there.
Thank you, Angelica, for your comments. I will now call on Erin Nash, followed by Aaron Nash. The next two speakers are John Micknell and Joanne G. Ellen Nash. John Micknell.
Hi, council and fellow citizens, thank you. When I was a kid, my family became homeless. I was alone on the street and scared. I actually went over to the Dunkin' Donuts over here and jumped into the trash can and pulled some donuts out so I had something enough to eat. I felt overwhelmed. People from my church took me in. I finished high school and eventually I got a job. I'm so lucky that those people helped me. My friend lives here in Lemon Grove. He's a homeowner. He creates jobs. He's building a beautiful second home. He has long hair and a beard. And when people drive by as he walks down the street, they stop their cars and they start screaming at him, telling him to get out of Lemon Grove because he looks like he's homeless. There's actually volunteering at the community garden to help people grow food. People are so scared of his beard, but he's causing our property values to rise. In Lemon Grove, there's been an 85% increase in homeless. We all want safety. I had some homeless people moving across the street from me last year, and I was concerned. Our security might be if we were to banish all the homeless and ship them out far, far away from us. Our security might be in helping the homeless to be more secure. Either is magical thinking. Let's examine the evidence, ask questions, and learn more. How does this project do the best it can with the funds available to really do better than other projects could do? I know the experts really have studied this and you understand it a lot better than we do. So that's a question I'd be interested in learning more about. I get the sense that the plan has wraparound services. When people are homeless, they need a place to clear their heads, they clearly plan, work on a plan to get a job, go to school, get back on their feet, food, shelter, security, they need case management, food, and medical attention. That's what we all want for our children. That's what we all want for our best friends. That's what I want for each one of us. I want us to be happy and at
Thank you,
peace.
John, for your comments. The next speaker we have is Joanne G, followed by Joanne G. The next two speakers are Audra and Angela Cabrera.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the people who came up to speak, who put a human face on homeless. We say homeless like it's one entity that's all alike. If you ever talk to somebody who's on the street, and it's a group, so in that group, you're gonna have good people and bad people. Any neighborhood in any city is gonna have good people and bad people. It's gonna have drug addicts and ministers. I mean, it's a group. But when you see these people in our town huddled in a corner, soaking wet from the rain, their blankets are wet, if your heart doesn't break, then something's not human within us. I don't know this project, I don't know all the plans. I pray that it is going to be a good plan because you've reached out to other people who have tried different things and found something that works. But unless you have something better to recommend except get them out of my backyard, let's look at what we have as opportunity to help people who need help. Thank you so much for your time.
Next, we have Audra. Angela Cabrera. Angela. And the last speaker set I have is Humbert Cabrera. Oh, Joey, and then Joy Banks. Ms. Banks? No.
Hi, my name is Joy, and I'm a resident here, and a constituent in the group. And I've lived here almost 5 years now. I'm also, well, I'm first of all a child of God, and I get really disappointed with all the them and us. You know, it's a hurtful thing. You know, when I'm eating my meals, I don't forget about the people that don't have anything. You know, I don't forget about people that don't have a pillow in the bed. When I'm laying down my own head. I hear the divisiveness in the community, and it's like a lot of it, city council members, I was not informed of anything. I was told it was limited funds. I think if there was more transparency, there was a budget. If there's 27,000 people here, 27,000 pieces of paper to inform people of what's going on once a month or so, there should be a budget for that. I also believe there should be an oversight committee that includes people with lived experience on the premises, and an oversight committee for the council with this project. This is real important. And also congratulations on the grant that you fought for and won for the city of Lemon Grove to help the homeless. My heart goes out to everybody in this room, whether you're housed, whether you're black, whether you're brown, whether you're white, all of the above. And but first of all, I'm a child of God, and I have lived experience. I know what it's like to be out there clean and sober for an extended period. But I would hesitate to, I think there would not have been hope for me if I had to move into such a hostile environment, you know, such us, them, and to be so unwanted, you know, between the county, the city, Alpha, the churches. I was surrounded with wraparound services. I was a college student trying to make, and then I thought I was the only college student trying to make it in a glass house on wheels. When then I discovered there's other students at universities and colleges going through the same thing, trying to better themselves. There's people at your jobs that you don't even know. They don't have a place to go once they get in a car.
Thank you, Joy.
There's people
Joy,
there.
your time is up.
But I just encourage us all to think more about unity and caring. Thank you.
So we received, at the last second here, some comments and questions from a young lady in the back. We need a win-win-win solution. Some of the questions: why are they not requiring drug and alcohol testing? That should be done. Screening is important. What about rehab for those not ready for these shelters? Example, out in the country, other open areas, a restoration farm, wraparound services. Can the houses be larger in size to accommodate a family, 2 to 4, and have fewer houses? Can we do it for Lemon Grove residents specifically? Can we get a copy of the presentation PowerPoint? I know there's copies in the back of the presentation PowerPoint. Will it be faculty for job training, counseling? It says utilities in the question mark. And then what cons do you see? What pros do you see? How can they transition into housing? Why not provide rental for them? I guess rental income for them. Can we put this to a vote? We have no say, question mark. And what do we, Lemon Grove, gain by having it here, question mark.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm gonna turn it over to the county team. I know you can't answer all of those questions, but if you can answer some of those questions, especially about the behavioral health and job training and the issues that were brought up. And then, Scott, if you can talk a little bit about the layout and why we're looking at the 60% design of the 2 units opposed to 4 units.
Thank you, Lydia. Yes, I will address the question about behavioral health services. The county, of course, also administers behavioral health services region-wide. There's a huge continuum of care from behavioral health that includes a variety, a number of services, outpatient, inpatient, treatment, and everything that may be based on a person's needs. So if a person that we encounter during outreach is in need of those services, they certainly are connected and referred to those services. As mentioned, we will have a behavioral health assessment on site and connect people that are in need of those services to them. So additionally, as I mentioned in the presentation, we'll certainly, there was a barcode, and there's a barcode on our posters that takes you to our NESD Engage website where all the relevant materials related to this project, including board letters, entire presentations, and all the other informational materials, including the renderings are posted.
I think the question was, why not have cabins that can house families? The reason is we're designing a facility to meet the needs of our office homeless solutions. If they ask us to provide cabins, or said that the program included cabins for families, we could provide them. But as Deanna mentioned, they have separate programs for families in need. So we've designed it for what office homeless solution needs.
Okay, well, thank you so much to the county staff. And thank you guys. You have some great questions there and some really thoughtful comments to share. So thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to hand the meeting back to Mayor Snow. Thank you.
And then Mayor Snow, if I may. Mayor Snow and council members, all speakers lists have been called. As a note and for the record, written public comment was received for tonight's agenda item. Copies of those letters have been distributed to all those seated at the dais, and a public review copy can be found on the back table for viewing. That is all I have.
Okay, so now we've closed the public comment portion of the meeting. And now we have the opportunity for the council to be able to deliberate. I'll give each of you about 2 minutes to be able to say and make recommendations based on what we've been provided today. And we can give direction to our city staff to follow up and our input to the county. This is the time to do that. So we'll go ahead and we will start with Councilmember Yadira Altamirano. Can we not interrupt, please? We need to let the people talk. Thank you. Again, no interruptions, please. Thank you so much. And that's your third warning, and so after that, you'll be asked to leave. Thank you.
I think the community has spoken. The community has spoken. We have heard you guys. Lemon Grove is a very caring community. We want to care for all of our neighbors, the housed and the unhoused. We believe that establishing a shelter is in an appropriate location is essential. We need a shelter in Lemon Grove. We need a shelter that can house our students, our women, our seniors. We need something safe, that has parameters that people can follow and that can be held accountable. My family and I dedicated 2 years to serve the homeless by feeding them every single weekend, and I never ever encountered had a bad encounter. They were all super grateful and nice and happy that we were there. However, after living across the street from a transitional living home for 12 years, we faced significant challenges. Many individuals dealing with mental illness, substance abuse, and addiction have caused disturbances in our neighborhood. Often walking up and down naked, yelling, screaming, or blocking our driveway so we wouldn't be able to get out in the morning, sleeping under our tree drunk. This is the type of experience that I've personally had with these types of homes for these types of people, because there is no accountability. There is no drug testing. They just want to house them. And this is the prime example of how sometimes housing first does not work. We need to house them, but not everything works for all people. There's frequent visits from ambulance and police 3 to 4 times a week. And this has created an unsettling environment for our family and our community. Families and children that attend Mount Vernon Elementary walk across the street where there's no sidewalks to avoid walking by this residence where people congregate outside all day long. This is an example, again, of how housing first does not work. The proposed location for the new shelter raises a lot of safety concerns. It used to be a nursery, and the soil can be contaminated with chemicals and pesticides. I wouldn't put my pets there, I said that earlier. I would not dare put a human being there. So the concerns me that CEQA studies are exempt. Additionally, the area lacks sidewalks, which we did hear that there will be sidewalks placed there. Very high traffic, and it's situated directly across from a liquor store and nearby many schools. We do need a shelter in Lemon Grove, and we do need to house some of our people. Can we put the right people there? Or can we find an alternate location? This situation is particularly concerning for an already economically disadvantaged community. We want better for our children. We want better for our community. And we believe that if we truly want to help you in-house, we should prioritize them and get them the necessary support such as drug and alcohol rehabilitation and mental health services before establishing a shelter in a location that may not be suitable for everyone involved. $11 million is a lot of money, and the contract, the lease is only going to be for 2 or 3 years. Like some of our neighbors were saying, it makes no sense. The numbers are not adding up. The math ain't mathing. I would not oppose a project like the one in Alcohol that houses women and children or seniors or teenagers. East County Transitional Center has an 80% success rate. Others have 100% success rate. That's what we need here. We're not opposed to housing our on-house neighbors. We're opposed to the type of project that you are proposing. Let's come together, let's get together and think of something better. Let's work together. We want to work with the county. We want better for our community. And I'm very hopeful that we can work together in finding solutions that work, that actually work. Not this. This is not going to work. Thank you guys for coming here. We've been wanting this for a long time, and thank you guys that you guys were courageous enough to face our community. Appreciate it.
The county already voted for us.
Councilmember Hurley? Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna try to do this in 2 minutes. First of all, there were some slides.
Councilmember Hurley, I gave Councilmember Altamirano quite a bit of additional time. It's just we're trying to get out of here by 9:30, so if you prepare comments, I'm going to give you a little more time.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So first of all, I want to address that during the presentation, there were some slides at the end I noticed were not presented to the public through the staff report. If those could get emailed out to the council and given to the staff to put on the website, that'd be great. I'm glad that the neighboring cities came to speak to us, but I want to be very clear, none of the programs they mentioned are anything like this program. And so it's really disingenuous to come in here and advocate for this program when it doesn't impact them and it is nothing like the successes that they're experiencing. If we were offered any of those programs, we would have gladly accepted. And first of all, it's also, this is a 3.5 mile town, just roughly above that. We shouldn't be burdened as the first of its kind of these tiny cabins in a 3.5 mile town with an average income of $66,000. In fact, what would be better is if you gave the $333,000, each one of these cabins is going to cost over the 3 years to the residents for down payments for homes or to keep them in housing. After hearing the public works, I'm all for advocating for if this project does have to go through, that we just put Lemon Grove homeless in it. It shouldn't be going to other people. If there's room at the end of the day for Santee's people to come over to the little cabin, great. They can add money to the coffers to pay for that expense. And we need to enforce our no camping ban.
Yes.
We need more CARES Act programs. I think there's 50-something done so far for the CARES Act where we can actually be conservatorships for mentally ill and drug users. That program is what we should be focusing our money on. All these utilities that you're bringing in for a 3-year plan makes no sense. That's a waste of everything I can think of. And it's putting an impact on the land that is probably not going to be used for that for any kind of long-term, it sounds like. We need to use this money to prevent homelessness. I'm sorry, but I'm a single mom, low income, I'm a renter. I face homelessness every single day. I wake up thinking, God, I hope my number doesn't die. You know? But we're not doing anything for those people. So let's focus on that more and then just help the ones that want the help. Okay? And I'd like to make a motion that we go into a closed session with the new leadership team, who feels very differently than the last leadership team, and actually discuss what our rights are, if we want to pursue litigation, and also so that we can direct staff, which is our job, to direct the city manager on what we want. It's about us, and we're the voice, okay? Even if it's us up here that has to do that for the community, you can trust that there's 3 people up here that are gonna be the voice. All right? We're good for you. Don't give up on the girl. I think we can find either a compromise or a better program. I'm hopeful that we can, because Lemon Grove homeless, I want to see them help. I don't care about anybody else right now. I'm in a situation in a 3.5-mile town where there's way too many homeless people, and if you're not gonna service them first, then I'm not in support of this project. And yes, I don't want those people.
Councilmember Ryan?
I'm gonna respect my 2 minutes, actually. Let's see. Majority of elected officials, when they decide to run for office, highlight a few things that they're passionate about. They create a buzz, talking points, and excitement throughout the city from its constituents about the change they can bring to the community. Here's a short list of some ideas that they campaign on. Infrastructure, public safety, homelessness, community programs, community and business improvement, etc. The list goes on and on. Yes, I personally campaign on a lot of these ideas, not because I wanted to win or begin a career in politics, but because I care. And I want to be part of the change that so many in our communities have been promised but have yet seen. So while campaigning, going door to door, we wanted to get a feel for what our community was concerned about. We wanted to find out how we can be different from the past leadership and do our part in serving them better. So I asked a 2-part question. Do you shop here in Lemon Grove? Sadly, 6 out of 10 homes said no. They shop in neighboring cities, La Mesa, El Cajon, Santee, and San Diego. My follow-up question would be, why not? And their answers, we don't feel safe. We're concerned about the homeless and unhoused on our streets. Here's where we are. Here is where we really have to think about our community as a whole. The answer to one is the cure for the other. So being able to help our unhoused and homeless community with wraparound services, help them transition from the streets to permanent housing, will in turn help keep our streets clean and safe for the rest of our community. I believe that some kind of transitional living and around-the-clock services is the absolute right thing to do. I just don't think Troy Street is the right place for it. I'm not interested in band-aids. I'm interested in the cure. So many of us are passionate about helping those who are less fortunate. God forbid anything ever happens to my 2 boys. I would hate for you to know who my 2 boys were and for you to drive by them every single day. We have a moral obligation to the least of these, is what the Bible says. To the least of these. We have an obligation to make sure that we're for the whole community. Listen, here's the deal. People say, oh, it's our homeless, they're homeless. Homeless is homeless. These guys, they hop on the trolley. They go from San Diego to Lemon Grove to El Cajon to Santee. They go from place to place. Homeless is homeless. Regardless of who they are or where they're from. It's to the least of these. So listen, I'm just like, Councilmember Altamirano and Jessica, listen, I'm for us helping get these people off the streets, our neighbors off the streets. But let's do it the right way. Let's be different. Let's not be the people who waste money and all that stuff. Let's be the council, let's be the community, let's be the city with hardcore results. So when the community or when the county goes off and they pitch this somewhere else, they can use Lemon Grove as a positive, as a successful, community that's done it right, and we'll do it for the long run. Our people deserve better. And listen, I agree with Councilmember Heredia, and I second that motion. Thank you.
So I too am not opposed to going into closed session to discuss this further. But I am disappointed. We heard from a lot of people tonight, and I appreciate everyone who's, not everybody's here still, but I appreciate everyone who came out and who spoke. And I didn't hear one person suggest where an alternative site. So that is disappointing to me. And the only alternative I heard was La Jolla, Coronado, unrealistic.
One more council member, that is your fourth warning, please leave.
Prison grounds.
They put a motion, you guys are gonna vote on it, you're gonna discuss this closed session. Your clans know you have no control of Living Grove anymore, realize it, you lost the majority, bitch.
Yeah, very professional. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Yeah, everyone that's here, no one has another suggestion. Let's help our homeless, just not in Lemon Grove. Well, they live here in Lemon Grove. They work here, and don't tell me no, they don't have jobs. They do. Some of these people have jobs. So, let's go to closed session. My suggestion too is while we're in closed session, that we talk about, we consolidate the suggestions that we have heard from the public tonight. We have heard some very good suggestions from our community and from those of us here on the dais. And that we consolidate those questions and find a way to work with the county. This is not, we've been offered an incredible opportunity here in Lemon Grove. Help for our homeless that costs our city nothing. We don't have to take any money away from fixing our streets, fixing our sewers, taking care of all the, firing a deputy. We don't have to take any money away from those things because the county is going to be paying for this. I remember years ago, and I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. One of the reasons I ran for office, this city got an $11 million grant to build a brand new library. And that city council sent the money back and didn't build a library. Eventually, we got a library, but we could have had a library, a brand new library 20 years ago.
and we didn't. So I think it would be foolish of us, for us to turn this gift from the county away. And, so those are my comments.
If I could take just a moment, regarding the closed session, it only takes 2 council members to support an agendized item in order for it to be agendized. So with the 2, we have support that will be agendized. We obviously have 3 in support, so you are well within those boundaries. And also with regard to closed sessions, there are limits on what you can discuss in closed session. And so I would encourage you all to discuss those things that are open to the public now or in a future agenda item. Just to my fellow council members, where would you propose to put the site? I would put with Councilmember Altamirano.
I assume you need one.
This will be your first warning, Mr. Epstein.
Can the county give us a list of the locations that they had initially came up with? I think a good area would be, industrial area would be off of Federal. I understand this right here is Caltrans owned, but can we secure something off of Federal? Or can we change the type of individuals that will be housed at this location on Troy? I think the location for the type of individuals that we want to put there is not a good match. Can we make it lemon grove and can we make it moms, seniors, teenagers?
Okay, Councilmember Herdia.
Yes, I have 2 ideas I'd like to share. I don't think that the tiny cabins project fits in this town at all, just because again, we are a 3.5 mile town, and we don't actually own any land as a city to get them. And so, one of my things that I do like the parking, safe parking, I think that's great because it does, accommodate families as well. We went to the Spring Valley one when it first opened and it was, looked like a pretty good setup. So I suggest that we put a similar project, to the safe parking, under our LED sign. It's close to the trolley, it's close to services, and it's, mostly away from housing. Also, I like the Health and Human Services parking lot. It's very underutilized, and because the parkings are from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. generally, it doesn't impact their business there.
It's private property and they said no.
Okay, well, look, I'm giving you what I got.
Okay, all right. And Councilmember Bynum, where did you put this?
One, I would like to see if the county can come with some other options. I mean, I've only heard of the 2 options, the one in Spring Valley and Troy Shoot. And then the other area that I would suggest that if we could look at it, would be just right off of Federal Boulevard in the industrial area there. Thank you.
Okay, so when I first spoke, I talked about we're gonna need a lot of different things in order to get us where we need to go, and none of them are mutually exclusive. So at the same time that we are working to keep renters in their homes, the same time that we're helping people who are living behind food for less, the same time we're trying to help working families stay with a roof over their head, we can do all of those things at the same time. It's not mutually exclusive, but what is finite and what doesn't come every day is $11.1 million to help. We do not have anywhere close to the kind of investment that it takes to have real solutions to get stuff done. You cannot just put a roof over somebody's head and say you're good. That does not work. What works is housing plus services. One without the other, totally ineffective. So I have done my homework on this. I have sat for hours and hours and hours researching what is the best possible solution for our homeless, for people who are struggling right now. And this is one of them. This is one aspect that gives us a roof over their head, a door that they can shut at night. You've heard firsthand what it means to be able to shut a door at night and be able to sleep knowing that nobody's gonna sneak up on you. that nobody's gonna like bump into you, that nobody's gonna assault you. You can have an animal there, you have that opportunity. And so this is a very good solution, it is in our hands. So
We don't want it.
you may not want it, but what happens is there are people that need this solution.
You chose for us.
There are people that really need this. And so I personally have gone out and gone to different parts of the city. I thought maybe underneath the 125 might be an area. I wouldn't explore that. I went and did all the homework to try and find a place where this would fit. And quite frankly, that's why I got narrowed down to Troy Street. There is a freeway that abuts it, there's a nursery on the other side of it, so it has minimal impact to a high traffic business because there's a lot of trees and plants there. And then we do have an issue with the car wash and the convenience store that's right there. And we're gonna have to do things to mitigate the harm to them and to the neighbors next door. We have backed, if you look at the diagrams, we've moved all the homes as far as possible along the fence line where there are neighbors. We are trying to make this work. I think we've heard some excellent suggestions from all the council members up here on how to make this work. And I think there is consensus up here that we need a solution for Lemon Grove. We need to take care of our own. This is our responsibility. That's how I see it. And I think that this is a good, fair solution for that. If we, like Spring Valley, throw away $11.1 million that would help anyone. If one person gets lifted out of homelessness, if we throw that away for them, that's on us. That is on us.
Give them the money there.
Yeah,
I
the
know.
money.
It's on the homeless person?
It's on everything, it's not all.
So you have the opportunity to help facilitate this.
Well, we didn't
And
have
you
an
wanna
opportunity
say
to do
no
this
to
vote
that
on it.
money?
Everyone has to have that, you voted for it. Because it's $3 million a year for 3 years on top of it. Let's not forget that part, but I'm not against helping the homeless. What I'm against is throwing money away at programs that don't work. We've already shown that to you, and you still wanna push it. They're not saying that they're gonna give us any of the consensus that we want as far as families. It sounds like we're not, so we could just write that off.
Can we get that from the county?
They just
Can
do what
you
they're
guys
for.
confirm if there's anything that you guys can do as far as what we are requesting?
We
So we'll
Taking
go
all
ahead.
the feedback,
Yeah.
and then we're, diving it
Yeah.
down and appreciate. We wanna work with you guys and we want these resources, not just for Spring Valley and East County, we want them for Lemon Grove.
What is the
So thank
likelihood
you
that you're going
so much,
to
we're gonna go ahead.
consideration?
So we're gonna go ahead and close the meeting now. Thank you everyone who's come and provided comments. There were a lot of people and thank you for the decorum. This was a much better meeting than what we had back in June. And it is because of your participation and your willingness to be able to have a good conversation here. We take your comments very seriously. We are going to try and convey this message in a strong letter from the city of Lemon Grove to the county, and really push for these issues, and we will continue to be pushing for these issues. And so this is the end of the meeting. The next city council meeting will be on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Back in the regular city council chambers. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.